East Bank going westbound. We've got an injury crash, and it is blocking the right lane right there at exit 47A. Over here in the Gulch, a disabled vehicle still in the center lane, 40 eastbound near Broad. And in Berry Hill, police reporting a crash 440 eastbound right there at I-65. And by the airport, a crash 40 eastbound as you're approaching exit 215. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, kids. Hello, friends. Welcome in. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We are proud and pleased that you've decided to join us for a length of time of your choosing. Whatever amount of time that you give us, we're certainly appreciative of it. We've got 4 full hours together today, and I hope you spend every single moment with us. But if it's just 5 minutes while you're in your automobile, frankly, if you're in your automobile and anywhere near the Green Hills Mall, you're going to be in there for another 30, 40, 50 minutes or so. So we hope to entertain you, maybe educate you, inform you about a matter or two that you were unaware of. And we are pleased and proud to do it on this Thursday, September 4, 2025. Joining me in this excursion that we launch right now is the one and only Jackson Williams. We call him Action Jackson, a.k.a. Fraction Jackson, a.k.a. Y2J. Hello, Jackson.
Hey, bud, can you enlighten me on what's going on at Green Hills Mall?
I don't know. Just a lot of traffic.
Oh, were you over there?
I was.
How was it?
It was nice.
Great movie theater over there.
You know what it was? It was trafficy. You know where I was?
The car dealership.
I was not. Car dealership earlier today. More on that in a moment. Hold on a second. I need to introduce the man. He's back. Ladies and gentlemen, Boomer Sooners in the house. It's Ken Weaver back after a few days of R&R. Hey, Ken.
How about you boys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm doing real good.
I would ask you how you enjoyed the foosball over the weekend, but I heard you bad-mouthing your Oklahoma Sooners earlier today.
Got to do better than 100 yards rushing against FCS.
Okay.
Only 100?
Yep.
Tennessee had 200 on Syracuse.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Isn't that nice? I think Georgia had 260.
Let me look up what Tennessee had.
Let me look up what Georgia had. Let's compare rushing yards, boys. Well, we got nothing better to do. We don't have anything going on in the news. Family doing all right there, Weaver?
Yes, sir.
Everybody doing okay?
Everybody doing good.
That's good.
Everybody doing real good. Spent a couple of days over there in Charlotte, North Carolina. And drove through a whole bunch of football traffic.
I bet you did.
Whole bunch of disappointed Clemson fans.
I bet there were, man.
Oh.
Well, you know. Clemson ought to be used to losing to the SEC at the beginning of the season. I mean, they did it to Georgia.
Yeah.
They now are doing it with LSU. I mean, Dabo's fine, though.
I like Dabo.
He'll roll through the ACC, although I don't know. Florida State. I mean, was Alabama that bad? Florida State that good? I don't know.
See, we don't know yet about anybody, really.
Nope.
Except for, LSU. I think LSU's pretty good.
LSU's a good football team.
I think Ohio State's pretty good. I still think Texas is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. You know who I got real high hopes about, or what is the Georgia Bulldog defense.
Oh yeah,
our Georgia Bulldog defense, and I know we were playing a bunch of we're playing Marshall. No offense to Marshall, but
yeah, but you did what you were supposed to do.
Did what you're supposed to do, and the third string boys are coming out and they're getting after it. Pardon me. I misspoke to young Jackson. We only had 239 yards rushing.
Oh, that's all?
That's all. 249 yards passing. Balanced attack over there in Athens there, Weaver. And there's as we say, sports on the news talk station. What's going on, Ken? We got traffic woes happening on our interstates as usual.
Yeah,
is that what I saw?
Yeah, what you got hooked up in was that stalled vehicle eastbound on the South Loop in the center lane. So that was blocking everything north and south of I-40 and anybody trying to get to I-40 from the north or the south was backed up too.
Yeah, so, y'all know how it goes, right? I mean, y'all have lived in Nashville. If you're new to Nashville, this is how it goes. And if you're not new to Nashville, you know how it goes.
Yes,
so
sir.
that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Traffic starts sucking around now, and it will suck until, I don't know, December. I mean, it feels, you know what I tell people about Nashville traffic? Nashville traffic is fine until it's not. And it's often not. And it's just often not. And I don't guess this is unique to the city of Nashville. Most major metropolitan areas experience this. But you get one little quag and most of the city might not feel it. But you get two, and now everybody's backing up everywhere because everybody's finding those alternate routes, and it just quags everything up.
Yeah.
Everything up.
It quags it up.
All I can tell you is it's a giant conspiracy by big radio to get you to listen to more of the Matt Murphy Show.
That's what it is.
And it's working.
We don't have to deal with traffic.
No. Traffic's fine at 7:15.
Yeah.
When we leave. I mean, smooth sailing. I bet 24 is tolerable by that time of day.
Speak for yourselves, boys.
All right, we've got our good friend, Knox County Mayor Glen Jacobs, already in the house, and he's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Courtney Johnston is also here. And I'm thinking about trying to flippy flop Glen and Courtney because Glen's got somewhere to be a little bit later on, and Courtney does not. And so everybody's in the house, and or maybe we'll just have them on together. I mean, I don't mind. I don't think they would mind. We'll find out together.
Well, the title is that I'm getting body slammed through a table. So,
is that the title?
Yes.
Well, who told you to write that?
Mr. Matthew Murphy.
Huh? The weirdo. Why would he say that?
I need to learn your middle name so I can yell at you.
Daniel.
Daniel?
I might be lying.
I think you are.
You think I'm lying? I might be lying.
I might just fill in a middle name for you. Like, come on, Matthew Chartreuse Murphy.
I always wanted to be Harrison. I always wanted Harrison to be my middle. I thought Harrison was a good name.
That would flow.
Matthew Harrison Murphy. Let's just go with that.
I know a guy named Harrison back in elementary school.
Ken, I feel like Matthew Harrison Murphy could get elected to something.
Could.
You know what I mean?
Best name I ever heard was a friend of mine back in middle school in East Texas. His name was John Ben Blackburn.
That's pretty good.
And nobody called him John. He was called John Ben.
Uh-huh.
It was never just John.
I remember in ninth grade health, Coach Wiley declared that we had a classmate who was not all there, Ken. I mean, I'm trying to be nice, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all, we've all had one or two.
Yes, sir.
He was not all there, but his name was Bobby Joe Whitman.
Yes, good one.
And Coach Wiley said, if that ain't a linebacker playing for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, I don't know what is. Number 45, middle linebacker, Bobby Joe Whitman.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah, that's a good name, Bobby Joe. And everybody called him Bobby Joe.
Yep.
I knew a Harrison in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
He's in jail.
As most are. As most are. Anybody ever call you Jack?
No, never really got Jack. It was always they do something with my last name.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know what you would do with your last name, as we established yesterday, one of the most common ones in the English language.
J. Willie.
J. Will's good.
J. Willie's good.
Yeah, that was my nickname all throughout high school.
J. Willie.
J. Willie.
J. Willie might be
That's good.
We might have to write that one down, Ken.
See, that flows.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who don't know, or they know my real name, but they have not called me that in.
I'm feeling J. Willie when he's doing something right. You know what I mean? Way to go, J. Willie.
That's right.
That's the way, J. Willie.
Attaboy, J. Willie.
And if you're doing something wrong, it's Fraction Jackson.
Where does Y2J come into play?
I don't think it does anymore for me. Not after J. Willie. Anyway, we'll do nicknames later. We got guests coming up. So, obviously, we have a debate coming up as well. That's tomorrow night at the Cabaret, not to be confused with a cabaret. The Cabaret is the theater built by Ray Stevens to host the Ray Stevens, just the extravaganza spectacle that he performs on a regular basis. But we're going to be over there with 4 7th Congressional District candidates tomorrow night. I'll start my show at 3 o'clock. I think doors officially open at 5-ish. maybe a little bit later. And then you can get your tickets and get your seats and get settled in and listen to the four main candidates. Now, I did not set up the rules for the debate. The rules of the debate were set up by others, not consulting Matt Murphy. I am planning to abide by the rules of the debate. I will go over those with you. They're quite simple. We'll talk about those a little bit later on. And I have formulated my own questions. I've got 6 of them. We feel like we're going to have time for 12 total questions with 90 seconds for each candidate to answer. You account for a few seconds between answers. You account for time to actually ask the questions and possibly have to restate the question. There's opening statements, there's closing statements. There will be an opening prayer, there will be an opening pledge, obviously, and the opening pleasantries, if you will. All said and done, I feel like there's about an opportunity for 12 or so questions for the candidates. So it's very important that you get the right 12, and I think my 12 is going to be different than your 12. Your 12 is going to be different than the next guy's 12. So with that in mind, I have left a couple of slots open for the possibility of you convincing me that your question is the right one. Don't call those questions in now, however. Call them in the 5 o'clock hour after we welcome in our guests. And I'm thinking, because Glen's got somewhere to be later on, and Courtney's already here, I'm thinking, why not just talk to everybody all at once? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We've got Nashville Metro Councilor Courtney Johnston on the show today. We've got Knox County Mayor Glen Jacobs on the show today. And, of course, you. It's episode 877 of The Murphy Show, a Thursday edition. It's almost 19 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project, a wonderful, incredible charity that helps support our veterans and heroes reintegrating from service to civilian life. The purpose of the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project is simple. They are a nonprofit organization that assists other nonprofits in securing funding to help causes that benefit veterans of the United States Armed Forces. The organization was formed in 2014 by Charlie Daniels himself and his manager, David Corlew. Friends, they understand the needs that face our veterans when they come back from their mission, their overseas mission oftentimes, into civilian life. After many years of service and for some multiple deployments, the journey home can be an incredibly complex process. Will you give? Please give as you can to the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project. Learn more about their wonderful September 11th event. It's the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards happening this September 11th, and they will have special guests, the surviving members of the Benghazi attacks will be in town at the City Winery on September 11th at 5:30 p.m. Find out more about tickets and find out how you can donate by going to the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project website. It's the journeyhomeproject.org. That's the journeyhomeproject.org. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know, that seat's going to need a trip to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Listen, if you're hurting anywhere, and we're all going to feel it at some point in our lives, you feel pain in the back, in the neck, in the knees, in the elbows, in the hips, somewhere it's going to hurt. For me, I had lower and upper back pain. It was consistent. It would not go away. I go to the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and with spinal decompression technology, that pain is gone, and I'm so appreciative of it. It gave me an opportunity, in all seriousness, to focus on my shoulder surgery, getting my shoulder better without having to worry about the other parts of the body that have been hurting. I don't have to worry about that because of the spinal decompression available at the Wellness Institute. And right now, the Big Daddy Trump special is going on, $12 for a comprehensive examination, x-rays if needed, a diagnosis, and your first treatment for $12. For $12. I mean, that's a low, low price because they want you to see the technology available to you. They don't want you to live in pain. No surgery, no spinal injections, and no painkillers. Just natural healing of the discs that helps alleviate that pain. Go to painisbad.com, painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009.
Nashville firefighters think someone using a propane stove indoors might have sparked a fire that destroyed 2 homes. We'll tell you about it at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. My name is Matt Murphy, master of the double bookings, although this one was not technically my fault. As we had Courtney Johnston, the Metro City Councilor from the city of Nashville, on the show, slated for today at 3:30, and then Glen was slated at 4, but that was always tight because Glen's got somewhere to be tonight, and Glen got here and said, hey, can we come on early? I said, sure, you can come on early, and then Courtney got here early too, and so everybody's here. But, I mean, it's like a big party.
Battle royal now.
It's like a battle royal. Well, it's a tag team match, buddy. It's everybody against Jacobs.
Okay.
If we're getting into the ring. Speaking of physical activity, how did your 5-rep 225-pound challenge? How's that going?
Man, it's grown great. Actually, some people have picked it up. You know, got some legs. It's pretty cool.
I love it. I love it because the basic idea here is let's promote physical fitness.
Right.
Part of the reason that I was excited about my shoulder repair was I let myself go in part because of the pain that my shoulder was going through.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is opportunity. This is turning negative pain into positive pain, and let's get back into shape in our 50s and don't let these things go and just kind of slide into oblivion. So I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you. My dad is 93 years old. Just had a pretty bad fall a while back, but his recovery has been remarkable, and I think a lot of that is because even at his age, he still exercises and keeps himself in shape as much as he possibly can. So, exercise is good for you no matter what your age is.
You've told us this in the past, that you were relatively lucky in your life in the ring, that you didn't experience anything that you would define as debilitating.
Right. I hurt my knee very badly playing college football. That's kind of what led to my wrestling career, and that's always bothered me. I didn't get it fixed. I have a torn ACL and some other issues in that knee. But otherwise, I had some torn ligaments, broken bones, but actually not that many for as long as I was in the wrestling business. And yeah, nothing that kept me out for more than a couple months. So I was very fortunate. I think being a bigger guy, I didn't have to do a lot of the crazy stuff.
The flying around.
Yeah. So I didn't have, my body wasn't taking that kind of abuse.
I love that we're able to kind of blend your political life with your life in the wrestling ring. And I feel like that your life as a wrestler was probably less of a contact sport.
At times. Yes, you're exactly right. Yeah, no doubt. Yes.
I want to ask you your thoughts on, there's some conversation going on, and I'm not trying to pit you against any other politician that has opinion on this, but there are some different opinions on, what Trump has mentioned about the possibility of going into various cities in the United States of America, and specifically Memphis. And some, Congressman Ogles. We had Congressman Ogles on yesterday. I'll see Andy this weekend. There's an event that I'll be moderating that he'll be at. And so this is not, I'm not, lashing out at Congressman, but he is of the opinion that maybe we should look at Memphis, look at Nashville. I just believe in the sovereignty of the state. I believe that that is a governor's prerogative. And thus far, the governor, whether we agree with him or not, says, I'm not. I don't see the necessity to do that just yet. What's your position on it?
When you think about Washington, D.C., that's a unique case. It is the federal district, and the law allows for the president to do that. A little different at the states. In fact, I think that a court did just rule that when President Trump ordered the National Guard into California, that was struck down, probably by a liberal judge, but nevertheless, there's that precedent now that it violated posse comitatus. So unless the governor specifically asked for that, to me, the president does not have the authority to just send troops in. And also, we cannot forget that law enforcement is, by and large, a state and local issue. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that in certain localities in this country, the local officials have allowed it to get out of control. And this is just what pops up because of that. So here in Tennessee, I would say that if the governor decides to do anything in Memphis, that's where the state patrol comes in. That's where our own National Guard comes in, and we can certainly take care of that. That's another thing. I don't think, it's just turning to the federal government in some of these situations just makes me really nervous.
And I understand that people are sensitive to the issues involving crime, but at the same time, I respond to, I am sorry to tell the people of Memphis that you get what you vote for.
Yeah. I saw you put out a tweet, and I think it was about Washington and how it's just kind of, this is one of those deals where
it's a different deal.
Yeah. But also, again, these state and local people were elected to office, right. And that sounds kind of callous, but it's their responsibility, and especially when you're saying, like, in certain places that the taxpayers from wherever have to pay for crime in this city because the local politicians have done such a terrible job at their job, that kind of sticks in my craw as well. So ultimately, the issue is the local and state officials just need to do a better job in this area.
Well, and I think part of what's going on, and I can kind of understand it, Glenn, is that you have something that President Trump has endeavored to do over his first 8 months in office, 9 months in office, and that is clean up immigration issues, illegal immigration primarily. That is obviously under the umbrella of the federal government.
Right.
And it's perfectly legal and permissible and constitutional for ICE and these other agencies to act on behalf of the federal government to deal with this. That's different than, federalizing the National Guard.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're exactly right. And I think part of this comes down to, too, these places that have been so belligerent when it comes to enforcing immigration law, and you just kind of have this pendulum that swings back and forth. So one political thing that, is really remarkable is how now Democrats are defending high crime and criminals.
It's fascinating.
Trump does that. It's pretty amazing how all of a sudden he puts them on the spot with that.
You and I could get in the weeds talking about the legalities and, posse comitatus and, not federalizing the National Guard and how that's a dual sovereignty issue, 10th Amendment issue. All that's well and good, and that's great for a debate standpoint. But the fact that Donald Trump has gotten into the noggins of the liberals so much that he has them on national television arguing that Chicago doesn't really have a crime problem,
or our crime is good. We like crime.
right. We want more crime.
Exactly.
No, I pulled up. It was a D.C. law in Washington D.C. and I pulled this up as a discussion point today. The headline was, D.C. lawsuit challenges Trump's National Guard deployment as a forced military occupation. And I was like, my alternate Murphy headline would be, the District of Columbia demands more crime.
Exactly. And then you see the people when they interview the people on the street, they're actually pretty grateful.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. They would like less threats, less homelessness,
but
less.
I think ultimately, this is something where people have to hold the feet of their local and state officials to the fire and demand better.
I'm held to my feet are held to the fire in terms of our break. We've got to get to a quick commercial break. We'll have Glenn Jacobs in for a couple of more minutes. Plus, Courtney Johnson's coming along in a moment. She's got a few things to say about our local mayor. We'll talk about crime in the city of Nashville and what we can do about it. I saw another example of an LPR, a successful LPR in Murfreesboro. There's a wanted murderer and kidnapper in Murfreesboro, and you're just wondering where's Where's Freddie in all of this? That's all to come on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Trump is.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, 2 homes just off Hobson Pike in Antioch completely destroyed by fire this morning around 5:30. This woman lived in one of them and tells Channel 4.
We were just sitting in the living room, and next thing you know, the fire started from the back. Still don't even know how did it happen. But yeah, as you can see, we lost everything. So we came this morning just trying to see if there's anything that we could save, but unfortunately there was anything that could be saved.
Firefighters say someone using a propane stove indoors may be to blame, and there were cars parked in front of the hydrant, which delayed efforts to put out the flames. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro police have given the all clear in the search for a possible murder-kidnapping suspect. They say an LPR camera hit on a stolen car at the Town Place by Marriott Hotel near Drake's. They searched floor by floor. They didn't find the wanted man. Drone pilots also assisted with the search inside and outside the hotel. But again, no one was found. Police there in Murfreesboro say they're still investigating. And later today in Williamson County, Nolensville city leaders take up an ordinance that would allow more liquor stores. Channel 4's Joy Lynn Bukovac says it would allow one liquor store for every 5,000 people living in Nolensville, which, if it passes, would allow one more right away because Nolensville has 17,000 people.
Stores would still have to follow strict rules, including being in approved zones and staying at least 300 feet away from things like churches, schools, libraries, and parks.
So that first vote set for 6:30 tonight at Nolensville City Hall. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. So westbound on the East Bank, we've still got that injury crash blocking the right lane at exit 47A. In the Gulch, a disabled vehicle, center lane blocked, 40 eastbound, right there at exit 209B. That'll be Broad. And in Berry Hill, police reporting a crash 440 eastbound near the I-65 exit. And over by the airport, another crash reported eastbound approaching Briley Parkway, exit 215. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 38 minutes after 3 o'clock, getting cranked up on a Thursday. My name is Matt Murphy. You can find us on iHeart, on Spotify, on TuneIn. We have our own app, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can find us there. We're on all of the app platforms. We're on a podcast platform, and we're on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. For those masochists in the listening audience that want to actually look at this thing, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. Now, Glenn Jacobs is something to look at. Matt Murphy, not so much.
I don't know. You look great today.
Well, thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. I see I was fishing for compliments, and I got one. Look
bam,
at there. Look at there.
Yeah.
This is my favorite this is my PT hoodie. Went to
Gotcha.
PT today, and I was very proud. I carried 5 pounds of weight above my head around the room 3 times.
It's like when you get older, or I've been in that same situation, right? You're rehabbing something, and I remember I had torn my bicep, right? And I'm doing curls with like 5 pounds. And my trainer, who literally is a little old lady, make sure you breathe. And I'm like, lady, this is, I'm the person who laugh at someone in the gym for doing this. And here I am breaking out a sweat, just doing everything I can with my cheering section over here.
I call her Abigail the Abuser.
Yeah.
Abigail the Abuser.
It's like Abigail at the hunt, right?
That's
like
exactly right.
Yeah.
Abigail the Abuser is maybe a buck 15,
Yep.
maybe. And she's telling me to do things, and she's demonstrating how to do them, and then I do them with the left hand, and I'm like, real
very
quick.
humbling.
No, we had this thing where she has these cubby holes, and she puts these little blinky lights. It's pretty cool. PT in the modern era is pretty cool. So she puts blinky lights in the cubby holes, and I have to hold a 3-pound weight. And then she's programmed. It's an app on her phone, and if the light goes on, I have to touch it to turn it off, and then another one goes on. And you're thinking, well, come on. I mean, I'm a grown man. After a minute and a half of this, I am just on my shoulders on fire. I'm like, can I just lay down? But it's getting better. We're getting in the right direction. So I brought up the 225-pound challenge, and then someone on the Super Text line wanted to know, I think I know the answer to this, but I think it merits the question. Did you ever hear back from Governor Tim Walz?
I did not.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. Governor Walz was talking smack, and you invited him to a charitable opportunity in the ring.
He
right?
literally said that he could kick Trump supporters' tails in a WWE-style match. And I'm like, okay, guess what? I do have some experience at that.
Hand up in the back of the room, right?
Oh, yeah, but I never heard anything back from him.
That's unfortunate. That's too bad. Do y'all have LPRs in Knox County?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you happy with them?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not really over law enforcement, as the county mayor or the sheriff, the sheriff does all that stuff. As far as I know, yes, it serves its purpose.
I mean, I
can't
imagine
really comment on a whole lot more than that.
But so I know you as a libertarian, and I consider myself a small L libertarian. And I have my own concerns. I want to make sure that there are fail-safes in place not to violate the civil liberties. But I've been, my concerns have been answered with regard to LPRs and the kind of the hoops that they jump through. And I think it's hard to argue against their efficacy.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. As long as you have the safeguards in place, it's just like just mass surveillance and pulling people over for no reason. That's the big issue.
Right. How's the campaign going? I know that you're officially a surrogate of the Blackburn campaign?
I'm here. I'm the treasurer.
Okay.
So, and yes, I.
So they picked the biggest guy in the room to handle the money?
Yes. Well, yes. We'll talk after the show.
Well, you just towed around the bag full of cash.
But yeah, and I represent the senator when she can't be at certain things sometimes, but she has a number of people.
You got to be pleased. I mean, early on, obviously, it's still 2025. We're yet to get into the year that it is, but you've got to be pleased with the response to her announcement.
Yes, it's been wonderful. She's dominated the airwaves and social media and everything else. It's exactly what you'd want.
What do you think? We spoke to crime. I mean, is crime the central issue married with the illegal immigration that our president's trying to clean up in Tennessee? I mean, is that the biggest thing that you see in the state, or is there something that I'm not seeing?
It's localized, right? I think in West Tennessee, obviously, because of Memphis, it's going to be a huge issue. Here, it's going to be an issue. East Tennessee, we don't talk about it that much. Obviously, we have our problems, just like every place does, and our challenges, but not to maybe the extent that Shelby County does. But there are other things, with Nuclear energy is going to be a huge issue as far as going forward for the future of our state and where we position ourselves within the global economy. And the other things.
How close are y'all to Oak? How close are you to Oak
We're
Ridge?
half an hour.
Yeah.
It's
It's right around the corner.
And also, what does our education system look like? Are we going to be able to produce those people that can go into those high-tech jobs? What about the skilled trades and all those sort of things? So, some of these kind of evergreen issues that are always with us will, at the end of the day, I think those are still what people talk about. You have your stuff that are, more right now, more contemporary, but you still have the other things, and also your transportation, and infrastructure around the state.
I mean, growth is such a wonderful thing, but I mean, I'm sure every time you come over to Nashville and you do a speech or you're in the music city for one reason or another, I know I'm here and I'm like, boy, can we stop growing for a second? Because that would be nice to kind of give us a chance to catch up.
It's the same, in East Tennessee. Maybe not quite to the extent that it is here, but we've seen a lot of growth as well. And that is always a challenge because you just naturally kind of fall behind. Because you can't predict where things are going to happen or where do you need to put a road. Well, the market kind of decides a lot of that, and then afterwards. You do your thing. And I've seen that, we're trying to be more proactive with our planning, but at the same time, it becomes difficult because we don't have a crystal ball that we can look into and say, hey, we need to do this here when everything is very dynamic and changing all the time.
I want to, this is odd, but I want to play you to you, okay. Mayor Jacobs, and then I want you to comment on what we're about to hear. It is about Operation Heroes Hill, and let's listen.
Hey, everyone. This is Knox County Mayor Glen Jacobs, and I am standing on the future location of a project that we are really excited about called Operation Heroes Hill. This time next year, this property will be transformed into a community for veterans who need a little more help finding a home of their own. Operation Heroes Hill will consist of 20 tiny homes, a laundry facility, a gathering place, and a computer lab. And the really cool part is the homes are being constructed by Knox County Schools career and technical education students. Thanks to so many great partnerships, next year, these students will spend the school year working with mentors and trade experts to build their construction skills and their workforce readiness. And thanks to a very generous donation from Darryl Horton of Building Supplies and the incredible support of Knox County Schools, teachers and administrators, construction is going to begin very soon. Here in Knox County, we believe that every hero deserves a home. And with your help, 20 veterans will soon have homes here at Heroes Hill. Please visit our website for more information and to find out how you can help. Thanks in advance.
This is such a great idea, such a wonderful concept. Just talk a little more about this because this is really, really cool.
Well, thank you very much. I actually got the idea for the tiny home village for veterans. Some friends that own 9 Line, which is the apparel company. You guys have all seen their shirts. It's
sure,
a guy rappelling out of the helicopter. And their foundation has done 2 of these in Georgia, I think one in Georgia, one in South Carolina. Doing some research, I realized other places had also done the tiny home concept. What is unique about this is incorporating the high school students into it and getting that skilled trades, construction trades, career and technical education stuff. And we're just super excited about it. Our students are excited about it. Schools are excited about it. The community's excited about it. So far, it's been great. We're still in the initial stages, but so far it's been one of those things that it just makes my heart feel good to see everyone coming out supporting this.
Well, and to instill in those young people, I mean, obviously the heroes piece and the veterans piece, it goes without saying.
Right.
But to instill in those young people that sense of community awareness, community spirit, and you turn a corner. I say this in speeches sometimes, that it was a moment for me that I didn't realize it was happening as it happened, but I look back on it and I realize how important it was to me that when giving became a selfish act. And what I mean by that is when I started receiving more in my heart and in my life to give than I did getting. When you're a kid, all you want is to get presents. When you start getting more out of the giving than you do the getting, and when you instill that in the young people, I mean, you're building a community of strong men.
Yeah, I hate the term giving back, because when I do stuff, I get so much more.
Right.
You know, it's not me giving, it's me receiving.
Right.
So it's awesome. And for this particular thing, every year previously, a group of a trade association for the builders would have a contest among the high school kids. They build like a room and then they tear it down, though. You know, that's just how it worked. Well, now with this, these kids will be able to drive by there the rest of their lives and say, I was part of that.
Yep.
I helped build that. Really good cause. And, you know, again, that's instilling into them that it's just something great to do and something to be a part of.
How can, what is it,
OperationHeroesHill.com.
Okay.
Please check it out. Any way that folks could help, we would love it.
You in town making some sort of big political announcement or something or another? Or what?
No, I have a speaking engagement tonight, but no big announcements for me right now. So
You're just laying low as you can.
yeah, which is actually not that low, as tall as I am.
That's
so
what I was
my
about
best.
to say. It's a little bit difficult to not stand out in a room when you walk in it.
Yeah.
Well, look, best of luck with the speech tonight, and you know if you're around, I don't know what your plans are. Come by the debate tomorrow night if you're still in town. We got a seat for you.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, Glenn.
Thanks,
There's Knox County Mayor Glen Jacobs joining us for a few moments. 50 after the hour, 10 until 4. We've got Courtney Johnston coming up next on Super Talk. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Eurofix. My buddies at Eurofix want to see you. You know, Aaron Stokes started Eurofix about 26 years ago, right? And he started in a little barn in his backyard. And they've grown to 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate locations now, and that's pretty cool. A man with a dream and the quality that he knew that people who drove European cars deserve. There's a lot of things that Americans are split on 50-50. You know, coffee or tea or working from home in the office. There's one thing that we all agree on, and it's taking your car in for repairs can be complicated. Your repair is only as good as the person under the hood. Most of the problems in fixing your vehicle is a knowledge issue, not somebody trying to rip you off. That means that you need to go where the people are most knowledgeable. For around a quarter century, Eurofix has been that place. Every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, so you know exactly what's going on before they start the work. And at Eurofix, they pay their techs more than any other company. They do it to attract the best and the brightest talent. Eurofix still fixes European vehicles below dealer pricing, even with that in mind. With a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all vehicles. Rental cars are available as well. Locally owned, family run. It's Eurofix. Go to myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. You know, I understand that you feel like fall's here, but let me promise you this. It is false fall. That's what we're dealing with right now is false fall. It's going to get hotter again, and the AC is going to continue to work. If it's working properly, you don't have a problem. I mean, the AC is going to continue to be necessary is my point. And if your AC is not working as it should, do you need somebody that can get you through the rest of the season? I understand that you want to get through the season. You don't have to worry about replacing that unit right now. Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, that's your team. They're going to help you get through the season. Now, they encourage you, and I encourage you to go ahead and think about scheduling that heater maintenance appointment. Once a year, for $125 or less. That's the commitment that Efficient Heating and Cooling has. So no matter how many heating units you have on property at your residence, it's $125 or less, and they will maintenance all of those units. They will take care of that, and that's going to extend the life of that unit and catch things that are wrong before your heater goes kaput. I'll talk to you more about that as September moves along. But right now, understand this. For any and all of your AC needs, for any of your needs whatsoever with your HVAC, it's Efficient Heating and Cooling. Go to efficienthvac.net or call 615-784-4424.
Starting tomorrow, you will see armed security guards at several Metro Park facilities. We'll tell you about that story and more coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 3 minutes until 4 o'clock. 3 minutes until we'll hear some of that newscast from Ken Weaver over in News Closet B. We've got good enough time to reintroduce you to our good friend. She is a member of the Nashville Metro Council. Her name is Courtney Johnston. She lives in Sanity Corner over there at the Metro Council. There aren't many people over there. Hey, Courtney.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. Go Tigers. As I was driving over here, you guys were talking about football.
Are you an LSU Tiger?
I am.
I knew there was something a little off.
A little off.
Little. You been to Death Valley?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you say, of course, I fashion myself as an SEC fan, and I have never been, and I want to go.
I went to the school.
Oh, you went to LSU?
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
I'm an alum. Yeah.
Oh, well, good for you.
So
I wouldn't want to ask because most aren't.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
I'm not an alum of the University of Georgia. I went to West Georgia, which is a part of the system,
Okay.
and I lived in Athens for a year and a half. So I have my bona fides, but
Yeah. No, I graduated in 2001.
What did you study?
Well, I had a full vocal scholarship there, actually.
Really?
I did, but I changed my major because the dean of the School of Music continued to bring vocal performance majors in, saying you have to change to music education because you got to get a job when you get out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, I don't want to be a choir teacher. No offense to all the choir teachers out there, but that was not what I wanted to do. And so I changed a 180 and switched to corporate and international finance.
Corporate and international finance.
Yeah.
And it's like being in imports, exports. That's what I just heard, Jackson. By the way, Jackson, would you like to tell Courtney what you were hoping for her LSU Tigers this season before the season began? What you wanted the LSU Tigers record to be at the end of the season?
This is not just for the LSU Tigers. This is for all SEC teams. I hope for 0-12.
Yeah.
Other than Tennessee.
Jackson wanted Tennessee to be 12-0 and every other team in the SEC to be 0-12. And Ken Weaver and I tried to explain to him that is not mathematically possible.
Right.
Jackson, being a graduate of the University of Tennessee, did not understand that.
Understand. Right. Got it. That's okay. It's okay.
Why do I do this to myself?
What do you mean?
Well, it's not you. It's the people. I'm going to get destroyed. I say these things and I know I'm going to get destroyed.
We're accepting of all kinds on this show.
I notice how you didn't do this with Mayor Jacobs here.
Well, of course I wouldn't. Mayor Jacobs is an esteemed member of the of the community.
Well, and
He's
he's
also
9 feet tall.
humongous.
He did. Hey, he what? What did you
I
say?
said he's also humongous.
He is humongous. He's got big hands.
He's bigger than me.
He's bigger than me and you. I think
Put
together. I did ask him though, and he said he said that because he was listed in his wrestling days as 7 feet, and I said, "Are we squeezing an inch in there or two?" He goes, "Maybe." He goes, I didn't. He said, I didn't print the programs. That's what he said. So I'm thinking 6'10" is what we're looking at there.
That's still tall.
And still, yeah, it's taller than me. Courtney Johnston's going to explain to us if Freddie O'Connell, the mayor of the city of Nashville, lied to all of us or not. That's coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, Channel 4 says starting tomorrow, you will see more armed security guards at several Metro Park facilities. Part of an effort to enhance safety and security across Metro Parks. They're going to cover key locations like the Centennial Sportsplex, Hamilton Creek Marina, permitting office, and community centers throughout Davidson County, funded through the Parks Department's operating budget. Also in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4's Lydia Fielder says charges could be upgraded against a driver who ran over a 76-year-old woman and sped away in Murfreesboro.
Today, we've learned that victim died yesterday. The crash happened nearly 2 weeks ago in the parking lot of a Kroger on South Church Street. 44-year-old Heather Keller is facing several charges now, including failure to render aid and driving on a revoked license. A medical examiner will do an autopsy to figure out the exact cause of death.
Murfreesboro police say they searched for a murder-kidnapping suspect out of North Carolina after one of their LPR cameras hit on a stolen car that was parked at a hotel under construction along Medical Center Parkway. They say they searched the Town Place by Marriott Hotel near Drake's off of Medical Center Parkway, but didn't find the wanted man. They're still investigating. And later today in Williamson County, Nolensville city leaders take up an ordinance that allows more liquor stores to be built in the city. Right now, there's just one, but this would allow for one liquor store for every 5,000 people. And since there are 17,000 people living in Nolensville, if this passes, there could be another liquor store right away. The first vote set for 6:30 tonight at Nolensville City Hall. And in our nation's capital, Congress is back in session and making a lot of noise. Listen to this exchange between Vermont U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. during a hearing today on pushing President Trump's health agenda forward.
Okay, you were already president. You got $1.5 billion behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
That was a very contentious hearing. Ukrainian President Zelensky met with top European leaders in Paris today to discuss security guarantees for his country. President Trump joined the meeting virtually from the White House and spoke with Zelensky afterward.
The White House says President Trump put pressure on European leaders to scale back economic ties with Russia during a meeting they had today with Ukraine's President Zelensky. According to a readout from the White House, the president emphasized Europe must stop purchasing Russian oil that is funding the war. The president has threatened more severe sanctions on Russia, but hasn't moved forward on that. The White House also said the president emphasized that European leaders must place economic pressure on China for funding Russia's war efforts. China's President Xi this week welcomed President Putin to China for a summit. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Belmont got a crash reported by police 65 northbound at Wedgwood Avenue. Then in West Nashville, police say there's a crash on Charlotte Pike just east of I-40. Fairview, Williamson County Highway Patrol reporting a crash 40 eastbound between exit 182 and 188. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It's Thursday. It's September 4, 2025. You probably knew that by now. It's 7 minutes after 4. I hope you knew that because I just told you. It's episode 877. It's also day 230 of Donald J. Trump's second term as President of the United States of America. I like to remind the liberals in the listening audience of this fact. 230 days out of 1,460.5. There's a lot more to go of this winning. We've got calls coming up. I've got an open question going out to all of you coming up probably about 4:35 today, and that is, if you were a moderator in the 7th Congressional District debate, what question would you ask of the candidates on the stage? Now, understanding these are not questions specific to any one candidate. The questions asked are asked to all of the candidates standing on the debate stage. So if you have a question to ask of the candidates, what would that question be? Hold off on that until about 4:35, and we'll get into that then. Right now, our very special guest in studio is Courtney Johnston. She is a City of Nashville Metro Councilor, which for some reason, those 4 words, I mix them all up every time that I mention that she's in the studio with us. But she is in Sanity Corner in the Metro Council, and that's a hard task. Hello again.
Hello.
So we've established that you're an LSU. Y'all are Bengal Tigers, is that right?
Yes.
You know? Okay. And you've been to Death Valley, and you would recommend it to all of your friends.
I just think if you're a football fan, regardless of if you're an LSU fan or an SEC at all, that stadium, especially at night, is electric. It really is special.
But if you're not wearing the right colors, they get mean to you, right?
I hope not, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think back in the day, that was the case. I'll say Nick Saban did a lot to change that.
When he was coach of LSU?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like, let's be nicer to our, let's root, let's celebrate, but let's not be nasty.
Yeah, he really did a lot towards that. So, is somebody going to be an idiot? I'm sure.
Was it, who was it that down in New Orleans, wasn't it at a Crystal that somebody got a body part put on their head? I feel like that was between LSU and Alabama. I want to say it was an Alabama fan doing it. Anyway, why am I looking at you, Jackson, like you took part in all of this? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just look at it. It happened there was a Crystal on Bourbon Street, and it was either an LSU or an Alabama fan that was passed out inside of the Crystal, and the fan base of the other team decided that they would well, you look it up, and maybe it's a good nincompoop in the news for you. Anyway, let's talk about...
Yeah, that happened.
You see what you found it?
Yes.
It had something to do with tea and dipping his tea into the old water. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
There was no sweet tea involved.
You don't know what I mean?
I'm going to make you explain it.
Uh-huh. How you dip your tea into the hot water. You got to get it steeping.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Matt.
Oh, really? Well, that's what they called it. I don't know. anything else about it. One way or the other, let's move on. Courtney,
Yes.
do we have a crime problem in Nashville?
Yeah, I think we do have a crime problem. I think we could do a better job of supporting our police department, getting the tools that they need, getting more officers on the street to handle what we need to handle. Yeah, we do. I think that's a common consensus.
I'm looking at this, and you know what? People like Senator Heidi Campbell can spin this any way she wants. She's spinning it as, quote, it's getting better. But the FBI ranked Memphis the number one city in the country for violent crime per capita, 2,501 violent crimes per 100,000 people. Nashville came in at number 8 with 1,124 violent crimes per 100,000 people, according to FBI data. You and I have had enough of these conversations that I feel like we know some of the tools that the Metro Nashville Police Department desperately need and want that could assist them in solving some of these crime issues, to include the FUSA system, to include the often discussed LPRs.
Yeah. All of those things, and we've discussed those ad nauseum. I think I would be remiss to not mention the failures, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion, of our judicial system as well.
Well, because we don't seem in Davidson County to take seriously some of the perpetrators of these crimes that come before these judges.
Yeah.
They get little slaps on the wrist and they get back out on the street and they perpetrate again.
It's a revolving door, and it's very, very frustrating, not only for the people that are being victimized, but for our officers who are working really hard and putting their lives, at risk to try to get these folks off the street, and they're out the door before the paperwork is done. And so all around, it's not good. And so, again, we should be supporting our police department more with tools, with funding, with boots on the ground. But also the judicial system has to follow up when we capture folks.
That said, yesterday we had the 5th Congressional District Representative Andy Ogles on the show. Mm-hmm. And he, on his X Machine page, seemed to directly call for the National Guard to be brought into not just Memphis, but also Nashville. He backed off of that on my show, saying, well, and I said,
when you presented him with facts?
Well, like the Constitution of the United States of America as
that
an example,
pesky thing.
Right? The idea of dual sovereignty, the idea that anything not specifically addressed by the Constitution and specifically prescribed as a federal duty is left to the states and respectively to the people, and all of that. And he goes, well, no, I'm not against the Constitution of the United States. I just say that we need to do more. Well, you understand that it would be Governor Bill Lee's prerogative because he's calling for the National Guard to come out. And I was like, well, the president can't do this constitutionally. I mean, I suppose he could, but it's immediately going to be challenged. And you would have to see a very real and specific emergency to override a governor. And anyway, all of that to say, it turns out that Congressman Ogles has not spoken to the governor about any of this, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. I would think that you would do that before popping off on a tweet. That said, there are plenty of ways I would suggest, long before you get to the National Guard, to deal with crime in the city of Nashville. And you're so much closer to it. I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to that. I think it involves LPRs. It involves technology. Does it involve more officers?
Yeah, no officer would tell you that we have enough officers. Truly, I mean, we're in the process of very shortly opening the 9th precinct in the Antioch area that has been much needed for quite some time. But what that is doing is taking officers from downtown, because those officers were actually hired, those FTEs, full-time employees, were hired for the 9th precinct, designated 9th precinct. Mm-hmm. Well, but they've been working downtown until that precinct opens. Well, then what happens when you pull those officers to work in the 9th precinct? Now what are we going to do with the EDU, which is the entertainment district unit? So we're robbing Peter to pay Paul from that perspective. So yeah, we need more people. I think we could do better in our education system. I think we could do better with after-school programs to keep these kids busy and sort of stop that pipeline. There's lots of things that we could be doing that we're not doing very well. But first and foremost is law and order, and that is supporting your police department and getting them the tools that they need that takes the place a lot of times of the people that we need, right? The tools make that. It's a force multiplier is what they call them. And those tools are effective. They've been effective. And we see it all the time. Mount Juliet is it's on social media constantly that they are finding people with LPR.
They're
LPRs.
doing incredible work with LPRs while protected. And I have a call out to the Mount Juliet Police Department because I'm hopeful to get someone on that can talk about some of the safeguards that they utilize to make sure that they're not violating the basic civil liberties of people that travel in and around the Mount Juliet area, but at the same time, incredibly effective in flagging those vehicles that have already been put into the system as wanted vehicles and catching perpetrators. Murfreesboro did as much. I mean, I think they caught a wanted murderer or kidnapper or both in Murfreesboro at a hotel over there. I mean, these are examples of what we could and ought to be doing in the city of Nashville that would eliminate some of this crime that I just talked about.
Yes.
So I want to ask the question directly. I think you're answering it indirectly, but is there a need for the National Guard to be called out in Nashville?
No.
Would you say the same about Memphis, or would you care to comment on Memphis?
I can't comment on Memphis. I haven't been to Memphis in years, and so I'm not going to speak on something that I'm uneducated around. I feel like the National Guard is just a step too far. That's not even their mission. When you look at the purpose of the National Guard from the state's perspective, it's to respond to emergencies, and it's not to assist daily policing. That's just not their job. If we had some riot, if we had some sort of specific event that was emergency that we needed backup, then that's a whole different story. And I think that Governor Lee would be all over that. And that's the correct procedure and process for that to happen, for that deployment. But beyond that, the whole thing, Mr. Ogles got what he wanted, which was the headline. And I think people are just really tired of stuff like that. It's performative. It's very shallow, and people are tired of it.
I mean, I should note that you ran against Andy Ogles in the last political primary when he was up for re-election. Do you have any regrets running against him?
No, I don't have any regrets running against him. I met some incredible people, so personally it was really fulfilling, and I've got a lot of new friends that I really appreciate. You and are one of them. It was a really unique experience. Not many people get to run for Congress. Most people probably don't want to. It's very hard, but it was an experience. It was a once in a lifetime experience that no, I don't regret it. And I'm not so sure that I regret losing either. So I've had some personal things with family that have come up that I think it would be really hard for me to fulfill my duties as a daughter. Being in Washington would be very, very difficult. But also I feel like I'm needed in Nashville.
Sally says the kidnapper and murderer has not been caught. So I apologize if I said that incorrectly, Sally. So I suppose they identified the individual, the vehicle and the individual as a result of the vehicle and the tag on the vehicle. So my apologies, Sally, and thank you for correcting me over on the super text line. Y'all correct me when I'm wrong, but don't spend all day doing it because you got jobs to do and whatnot. So along those lines, do you believe that the 5th Congressional District is being well represented right now?
No. If I thought that the 5th Congressional District was being well represented, I wouldn't have run against him last year. That was why I got into government in the first place in 2019, was because my council district was not being represented well. And so, yeah, I don't run against people that are doing a good job, in my opinion. Do
you believe that there will be someone, not necessarily in this room, but someone that would step up and challenge Andy in a primary setting next year?
I do. I think there's a lot of frustration, even, certainly in general. But even within the Republican Party, with the lack of representation and the performative nature of what he does and the lack of delivering results for the district, we've got a lot of need here. And the needs in Nashville are very different than the needs in Murray County or Marshall County, or Wilson County. And all of it needs to be attended to, and constituent services are abysmal. And so it's just... I think he's going to be challenged all over the place. And so it's going to be interesting to see. It will not be me.
It will not be you.
Yes, it will not be me.
1972 has written in and says, I feel she is wrong. And by extension, I think you feel I'm wrong too, 1972, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Rampant crime, rampant violent crime above what law enforcement can handle is an emergency. And to that, I would say defined by whom?
Well, and when you look at the people that are being arrested for violent crime, they are repeat offenders. And so it's not that we're not able to get them off the street. It's that we're not able to keep them off the street. And so, yes, does our police department need tools, need more people? Absolutely. But I think there's a big segment that we are failing as well, and that's in that judicial system where, our judges need to hold people to account. Our district attorney needs to prosecute more severely, I think, and people need to be held to account. That's not happening.
So back to back, and this is why I like having you on, Courtney. Back to back, I got this. I got 6066 writes, she's a Democrat from Louisiana. She should go back. And directly after that, 7142 writes, damn, this woman needs to run for governor. I'd vote for her.
Well, I okay. I'll go visit Louisiana and eat some good food, but I'll be coming back. But okay.
So I think we just referenced this, but 8403 says, ask her about Glen Funk. Is there anything that we, the people, can do about Glen Funk outside of begging people that live in Davidson County to vote for someone else?
Yeah, I mean, so elections matter, right? And I think I will say that the district attorney's office is overwhelmed. Because I've got friends that are ADAs, and their caseload is insane, and so that doesn't help anything either. So that function of the government is underfunded as well. So that's a challenge, but that could be easily fixed because Nashville is not lacking in funds, I will say. So yes, applying pressure to your elected officials to do their job and to be more aggressive on holding people to account and making sure that there's law and order, I think is absolutely something that you can do. I think it's an 8-year term. But yeah, so elections matter. Hold your elected officials to account.
Some are saying that I'm missing a candidate in the primary. And so let me just clarify this. Just to be clear, I do think Andy Ogles, I'm all about primarying all of these folks, right? I mean, I think even your good candidates get better if there's a challenge involved. Competition is a good thing. So that's not singling out Andy specifically, but I would say that many have suggested to me that they are considering a run, and I won't name names, but they're considering a run in the 5th Congressional District. I was specifically targeting the primary in that district. So, several of you have mentioned the name Chaz Mulder to me. Chaz Mulder is a Democrat. Chaz Mulder does not have to self-identify as a Democrat when he runs for mayor of Columbia, but he will. I assume. Do you not assume as well that Chaz is going to run as a Democrat? I would assume that he is. Do you know him?
I do know him just from my dealings.
I mean, he might not, but I would assume that he is.
He's running on the Democrat ticket for sure.
Yeah, so he would obviously face off whomever the primary victor would be in the Republican Party for the 5th Congressional District in the general election. But yeah, Mulder is a Democrat out there in Columbia. 25 after the hour. Got to take a quick time out. We'll talk about Freddie O'Connell in a moment. Plus, Randy's got a question for Courtney Johnston next.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and another traffic update coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, you might want to get to the football games in Rutherford County early tomorrow night. New security measures are going to be in use, the same as the weapons detection systems rolling out in schools across the Rutherford County district. There is a clear bag policy, too. It's similar to what's in place at professional sporting events. And patients who drive for hours to Kramer Davis Clinic in Hermitage because it's the only clinic of its kind are fighting to keep it open. It lost its private funding and is set to close at the end of the month. Leanne Key, who drives her son Noah there for dental and primary care, tells Channel 4 he can be a difficult patient and hadn't got dental care for years until they found it, making an immeasurable difference in their lives and the lives of hundreds of other children with special needs.
We've already been through so much. Just trying to find the right care for him. And then to lose it and then have to start all over again? No, thank you.
Clinic leaders and supporters are appealing to the state of Tennessee, including Governor Lee, for temporary funding to keep the clinic open. Later today in Williamson County, Nolensville city leaders take up an ordinance that allows more liquor stores.
There's not been anyone that says, oh, no, we don't want to do that. There's been lots of discussion about, hey, we at least want to not make it wide open to where you could get inundated with them. We need to have some controls.
Channel 4 says this calls for one liquor store for every 5,000 residents. And right now, Nolensville has one liquor store and 17,000 residents. So if this passes, it would allow another liquor store right away. And in our nation's capital, Congress back in session, fighting over President Trump's health care agenda. Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. and Democrat Elizabeth Warren concerning availability of vaccines.
Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It depends on the states.
Some states now require prescriptions for certain vaccines at pharmacies, particularly for the most recent COVID shots. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Madison, police say there's a crash 65 northbound before Old Hickory Boulevard. Rivergate, police working a crash 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans. And in Belmont, police working a crash 65 northbound at Wedgwood Avenue. Fairview, Williamson County Highway Patrol working a wreck 40 eastbound between the Fairview-Dixon Highway 96 exit 182 and Kingston Springs, Ashland City, Tennessee 249 exit 188. Creve Hall, police say there's a crash 65 northbound before Harding Place. And in Rutherford County, police working an injury wreck 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. I'm Ken Weaver.
What's going on, y'all? It is 38 minutes after the hour. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Ken Weaver's back in News Closet B. Jay Willie's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. I'm your humble correspondent, your friendly radio host, Matt Murphy. And Courtney Johnston, our lovable liberal from Louisiana, is with us. I'm joking around. Although you're getting a lot of response from some of the commentary regarding the things that we're talking about. For example, I don't know about governor, but Courtney would make the best damn mayor this city's ever had.
Thank you.
That's from 2140. Suzanne writes in and says, my Green Hills friends are so jealous. Courtney is my Metro councilman. Thank you, CJ.
Aw.
And then somebody saying Chaz Mulder's scum. That's nice. Courtney has the smarts to go along with her beauty. She's awesome. Good gracious. You got family members texted in now? Is that what this is? Is this your husband?
Listen, money well spent.
Well, sure. Let's talk about the mayor for a minute before we get to Randy. So Mayor O'Connell, I think I'm quoting him accurately here, says that outside of a brief conversation had regarding the Elon Musk Boring Company tunnel, that there were no specifics offered to the Metro Council. There were no specifics offered to the city of Nashville regarding this tunnel. And I feel like there's documentation demonstrating that that's not true. Am I correct?
Yes. Now, I want to make sure that we separate the council. The council was never brought into this because the mayor's office stiff-armed it.
Okay.
And that's how it works, right? I mean, they're not going to say, oh, the mayor's not interested, let me start reaching out to the council. That would be completely inappropriate. So we did not know anything about it.
Okay.
I was asked if I wanted to meet with them. It was like 3 or 4 days before that press conference that they had. Was incredibly impressed with their what they had to say and what they had to show. The technology is unbelievably cool. But yeah, so the Metro Council did not know, and that's normal. So, but the mayor did know. And with whether you are supportive of the project, have lots of questions about the project, can't stand the project, are fearful of the project, my thing is just don't lie.
Right.
Just don't lie to me. I don't like being lied to.
And so Freddie said, not really involved, a lot of questions, not really any specifics, that, they never had a chance to sit down. And it doesn't feel like that's true. It feels like the Boring Company reached out to the mayor's office, and according to the documents that I've seen, and I think you've seen them, that the mayor's office specifically asked the Boring Company to back off in terms of conversations so they could get their transit tax passed.
Correct.
And
Which they honored.
And the Boring Company did.
They honored
backed
that.
off.
Yes.
Now, the Boring Company, in the between the time that they approached the Metro Council and they went to the state and said, hey, by the way, we're doing this. Can we work together? And, of course, the state began working with them. And by the time they were ready to come back to the city, it's my understanding, the Boring Company went back to the city after the transit tax passed. So Freddie got what he wanted, got his additional taxation to work on bus lines and all of that. By the time they got back to them, apparently the city said what? That they didn't want anything to do with it?
Yes. So at that point, Elon had become much more politically divisive and in that sort of arena. And so they needed to, quote unquote, distance themselves from that. They said they would not be obstructive of the project, but they would not be outwardly supportive. So we're not going to get in your way, but we have to distance ourselves from it politically. And so if that's your stance, then just own it. But don't say that you didn't know anything about it.
Right. And so you're being disingenuous.
Right. And that this whole thing has been, Metro was cut out of it. I mean, that's the bad look that was put upon the Boring Company and the state, was that, the state and the Boring Company are just doing whatever they want to in this county, not involving Metro. But that's not the case.
The Metro area, the Boring Company, at least on 2 occasions, attempted to involve Metro, and Metro declined involvement. They said no, thank you.
Went to Metro first in the spring, whether it was March or April of 24, and said, hey, we're thinking about this. They said, we're not interested.
Got a transit tax to get passed. Yep. We need our money.
Went to the state. State said, we want to play ball. came back to Metro in like July of 24 and said, hey, the state wants to play ball. We'd really love for y'all to be a part of this because it is your county. There's stops that are involved with your right of way. Nope. Transit tax. Let's do that first. Please keep it on the down low type deal. But then once that passed in December, those meetings were full on, like,
and the Metro not the Metro. I keep saying the Metro Council, the Metro government and the mayor's office at that point could have been involved at any stage, but they chose not to be involved because they believed that Elon was too political.
But they were part of a lot of these meetings. And that's what that memo shows, is that they were part of the conversations. They were part of where the route was going and not going, what stops were going to be created, what stops were not going to be created. So, now the spin is, well, the mayor wasn't in on these conversations, but people from his staff were.
Well, that's just garbage. That's just someone protecting a lie.
Right.
I mean, that's just awful.
Well, if you tell the truth, you don't have to spin the lie.
I mean, if you're saying, well, we said the mayor wasn't involved, and what we meant was the mayor himself, of course his staff was. No, you lied on the front end, and you're trying to defend the lie on the back end. That's exactly what you're doing. And I would say this to Freddie if he were sitting here.
Right. I mean, that's exactly. So again, if you just tell the truth, you don't have to spin a lie.
So, like you said, you can think this tunnel deal is just a dumb idea if you want. But what I would say is that it is, and if you believe that it's going to cause some sort of environmental or ecological disaster, then that's one thing. But other than that, it is costing the taxpayers zero. It would cost Metro zero. And Metro involvement would be allow them to utilize the ground beneath your right-of-way. That's it.
Correct.
And the benefit would be going to various places in and around the downtown area controlled by the city. And I understand that they're already in discussions with the Music City Center. Mm-hmm. They obviously have the stop outside of the Capitol where you see some of the boring going on. But there are many other possible branches of these tunnel routes that they could utilize, to include the possibility of going under the Cumberland River to the East Bank and involving itself in that development that's going on right now. And the city's just missing all of that because of politics.
Yeah. And that's what's really sad, is that it's about politics. Because my question would be, if the company was not majority owned by Elon Musk, if it was someone else, would the O'Connell administration have handled this differently?
If it was owned by the Soros people.
Whoever. Pick somebody. To me, this is not a red project or a blue project. It's a green project that stands to have an incredible impact on our transit system. Think about a tunnel going out to the West End area, to the Bellevue area, to Donaldson, the possibilities really are endless. And this is just step one. So we'll see. Again, I've told the boring company, I think this is your test. And if this is successful, then I think we won't have a choice but to expand it.
No, all right. So people are, Sally, let me correct you here. And I'm just trying to, in real time, I'm trying to help people understand how this happened. Because Sally's writing in, and I don't want anyone confused. Sally says, well, now I don't want the damn tunnel because the boring company held off on the tunnel because the mayor wanted his transit tax. No. The boring company went to the city and said, hey, we have this idea. It's going to cost you no money. The city didn't want to enter an agreement with the boring company because they were afraid if everybody heard about this project, which costs no money, that it might impact their transit tax vote. So they said, we don't want anything to do with this. And so the boring company said, fine, we're going to go to the state. And the boring company immediately went to the state and worked out a deal with the state. So I don't think we should be faulting the boring company for the mayor's office decision-making process as to not be a part of the project.
Yeah. Well, and also they took that time to do due diligence. There was 2 other cities that they were looking at investing in. So there was Nashville, I think it was Miami, don't quote me, but it was someplace in Florida, and then I believe Houston is what I want to say. But it was someplace in Florida and someplace in Texas. I don't know. And so they were looking at all 3 cities trying to figure that out. when they 100% decided on Nashville, so they're doing due diligence in all 3 cities, was April. Was when they made the decision, hey, of this year, we're pulling the trigger. But we also, there was so much that was going on in that, and conversations were happening with state officials, federal officials, local officials, clearly, during that whole time. What the O'Connell administration had requested was, can you just keep this on the down low before the transit tax is voted on? Because they didn't want anything to take away from that.
Well, and I think people are mad that the Boring Company agreed to do that. I think that's what my takeaway is. That
there was nothing to announce anyway.
Right. They weren't going to announce anything until they got something together.
But they did move forward with their process of due diligence of trying to figure out whatever. So I get sort of what they're saying, but to me, when the Boring Company and the state are being blamed for cutting out Metro and blindsiding us
that's not
with
what
this,
happened.
That's not what happened. And to me, it's the lie. People don't like to be lied to. People don't trust the government. Why? Because the government lies to them.
Well, and I believe that, and I'm not here to defend the Boring Company. I mean, if your point, Sally, is that the Boring Company didn't out the mayor's office at that time and say, hey, there's a no-cost alternative to his transit tax, and he don't want to talk about that, and y'all don't vote for it. Well, you just turned a stated neutral party into a party that's against you, and I think that the mayor's office could refuse to enter an agreement with the Boring Company and be neutral with the state, or they could actively try to screw the state's roll up. And what you don't want to do is screw the entire project up.
Yeah, well, and from what I'm told from the people at the Boring Company, they want Metro to be involved.
Moment.
Yes, they don't want to be adversarial. And so there was no need to be adversarial and say, well, you're wanting me to keep this quiet or not, make a big deal of it before this transit vote. I'm going to not do that because screw you.
And Sally wants to know, well, why wasn't all of this discussed open? Well, they're not. I mean, Sally, whatever. I mean, if you want to decide the Boring Company is a part of the enemy list, I mean, that's fine. That's up to you. What I'm saying is the Boring Company probably didn't have any position on the transit tax. That's not their job.
No.
I mean, so it's not their role to out the mayor's office for trying to, tilt the scale in the favor of the transit tax. What their role is to get their tunnel built. And so when they got told what they got told from Metro, they moved on to the state with the possibility still open that Metro might be open to more tunneling underneath city-owned property at a future date.
Well, and every project is done behind closed doors. Legislative bodies do not put deals together. We vote on deals, and we may amend deals, and we allocate the dollars for it, but we don't put the deals together. Administrations do that on the local level and the state level.
Well, the bottom line is this, and I think TV has it right. When elected officials put their politics ahead of doing what's right to improve the quality of life of the people who elected them, that is just criminal behavior. And I agree. And your point, Courtney, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, is that the mayor's office is out here acting all magnanimous, like, we didn't know anything about this, and this is not. Yes, they did. They most certainly did. And their lack of involvement in this project was all up to the mayor's office.
Well, he's been quoted as saying politics is everything. It's like, no, it's not. He is abdicating his responsibility for his duty to do what's best for this county because of his thought process on politics.
I mean, right now you have a neighborhood improvement project that is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 million sitting on the table, ready to go, that is going to cost the city of Nashville $0, and politics is getting in the way of that project moving. Well, I'm talking about, of course, the Fairground Speedway.
Oh.
I mean, is that ever going to happen?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because there was a deal close to, I'm told that a deal was close to being finalized to get it back to the Fair Board, to get it back to the council, that would just absolve the city of any financial responsibility for the next 30 years.
Right.
And it would sink up to $150 million into the community. And now there are entities that are ready to stymie that proposal.
Well, right now, the racetrack is costing us millions every year because it is falling apart and it is in disrepair. So we could change an asset to our county from costing us money to making us money. It could be a revenue producer, and still honor the history of that racetrack, which is really, really cool and part of the fabric of and the soul of Nashville, if you ask me, and also protect that charter protected use of the fairgrounds.
Well, you know how much I'm in favor of it. I promised I'd get to Randy. We got like 2 minutes left. Hang in there, Jackson. I'm going to get to that break. Hey, Randy, the time is yours. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, go Tigers. Council lady, would you be in favor of supporting legislation to make things transparent? No more settlements like the one with the superintendent. If their personal agrees against the personal elected official or appointed official, why are we settling those lawsuits?
Yeah, that's a complicated issue. The $6.5 million, which is unbelievable, was actually the better option than the $20 million that we were putting ourselves in liable for if we were to go to trial.
Were the firings justified, in your opinion?
No, I think they were retaliatory. And you can read
By the
depositions.
superintendent.
Correct. You can read the depositions. You don't settle $6.5 million if you're not
confident
guilty.
that you're about to lose.
Yeah. If you think you're going to lose, yeah. So,
well, what can the council? I don't mean to rush you, but what can the council do about the superintendent then?
the council can do nothing about the superintendent. The school board is the only hiring and firing group that can handle that. I don't have any confidence that they're going to do anything with that. And the reason that the council couldn't do anything about the $6.5 million either is that that money came out of the school board's budget, MNPS's budget, not Metro's budget. Now, it's our money, but we've allocated that to them.
So just to be clear, the mayor of the city of Nashville and the 40 elected officials elected to govern the city of Nashville have no control over the Metro school system.
Correct. We are a funding mechanism, and that is it.
Well, cut off the money. I know I'm arguing with the wrong person, but just cut off the damn money.
Well, you saw what in my substitute budget where I reduced their increase. It was still a huge increase.
But you reduced it.
And you would have thought there had been blood in the streets.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my God. So they're not going to do it.
Speaking of which, there's going to be blood in the streets if I don't honor Fraction Jackson and go to break. Courtney, thank you.
Absolutely.
There's Courtney Johnston, our good friend from Louisiana. She's our Bayou Bengal from Louisiana on the Metro Council of the City of Nashville. Back in a moment. Alpha and Omega is not new. They've been around since 1998. Man, I mean, that's 20 and 10 and 20 and then 5. And that's 27 plus years of service to their community. Michael and his team are great. You know, I told you about the email issue that they addressed with me. And it's just such a small thing, but it's just an example of the level of customer service that they believe in. I talked to a local support team member of Alpha and Omega, Eric, for about an hour, and he walked me through the process of cleaning up my computer issues. And that was just for my home system. Imagine that you have a business and you need IT. Friends, it's time to get with the program and get with Alpha and Omega. Their average response time to a ticket, they call it a ticket, is 4 minutes. And the average resolution time is 15 minutes. If you don't know, that's super, super fast. If you're a business owner, know this, that there are 14 successful ransomware attacks happening every single day. Alpha and Omega want to help you to avoid to be number 15. Call Alpha and Omega if you're reducing your annual IT contract and talk to them about allowing them to become your IT company of choice. 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or A&O.net, A&O.net. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Speaking of friends, Shane Ring is my friend, and he wants to be yours. And he can help you find the right insurance plan for you. If you are uncomfortable with your current situation, perhaps you just left a job and you've left your insurance behind. Perhaps you're looking for a better plan for you and your family. Whatever your reason might be, call Shane Ring right now at Cover Nash and allow him to assist. They've got great programs available for you and a variety of different health insurance companies at their fingertips. They don't work for any company. They work for you, their customer. They have a nationwide PPO plan, though, that gives you freedom to choose your doctor anywhere in the United States of America without the headaches. Only a $250 deductible with this plan. Flat copays after the deductible. Outpatient surgery for just a $250 copay. You're hearing me right. Friends, find out more when you contact Shane at Cover Nash. He has the answers that you're looking for with your insurance questions. No hidden fees, no back-end bills, just honest assessment of where you are concerning your insurance. CoverNash.com. That's CoverNash.com, or call 615-465-0023. 465-0023.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, police looking for a murder and kidnapping suspect in Murfreesboro. They thought he might be at a hotel under construction after an LPR camera hit on a stolen car that was parked there just off Medical Center Parkway, the Town Place Suites by Marriott near the Drake's restaurant. Well, they said they searched every floor inside, even used drones inside and outside, but didn't find anyone. Investigation still underway. And the president and founder of the SPCA Tennessee says shelter overcrowding and rampant pet dumping are pushing shelters around the state toward possibly having to euthanize the animals because they're out of room and resources. Channel 4's Steve Mailing says state lawmakers are getting involved to try to curb this activity.
It basically says in that bill that if you leave an animal and you don't try to get them, to a safer place, to a place with resources that can help them, you can be charged with a Class A misdemeanor. And that's why the police department's investigating this.
Yeah, the SPCA says they have rescued at least 40 dogs that have been dumped so far this year, 3 of those in Dixon alone. Later today in Nolensville, city leaders tell Channel 4 they're going to take up an ordinance that would allow more liquor stores in town.
There's not been anyone that says, oh, no, we don't want to do that. There's been lots of discussion about, hey, we at least want to not make it wide open to where you could get inundated with them. We need to have some controls.
Right now, there is 1 liquor store in Nolensville. Now, this ordinance says there can be 1 liquor store for every 5,000 residents. Nolensville has 17,000 residents, so if this ordinance passes, another liquor store could be built right away. Right now in Middle Tennessee, new security measures mean you may want to get to the football games in Rutherford County early tomorrow night. They'll be using the same weapons detection system rolling out in schools across the Rutherford County District. And there's a clear bag policy similar to what's in place at professional sports events. Congress back in session in our nation's capital, making a lot of noise, especially in the Senate Finance Committee hearing on President Trump's health care agenda.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. defended last week's firing of the CDC director after less than a month on the job, saying the agency misled the public through the pandemic.
I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen again.
In addition to sharp questions from Senate Democrats,
Sir, you're a charlatan. That's what you are.
Kennedy also faced the concerns of two Senate Republicans, both physicians. Bill Cassidy of Louisiana.
I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
John Barrasso of Wyoming.
I support vaccines. I'm a doctor. Vaccines work.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. You are coming to complete stops at times. Northbound 65 to the South Loop. Eastbound South Loop over to 65. And northbound, the westbound West Loop up to the 24 split there north of downtown. Also eastbound East Loop coming to complete stops at times. We're dealing with a couple of crashes, one on the right shoulder in Madison, 65 northbound near Old Hickory Boulevard. Another one at Rivergate, 65 northbound right before exit 95. Fairview, 40 eastbound between exit 182 and 188. And then 40 westbound just past Fessler's Lane, just east of downtown. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, 9 minutes after 5 o'clock. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Proud that you've decided to join us for whatever time you're able to give. Many of you getting off work and you're encountering what is a typical, get off work traffic situation. I apologize for that. I can't do anything about it. I mean, I don't know what to do. I blame Ken Weaver myself.
I say you just turn up your radio and listen to the Murphy Show.
I like that idea a lot. There's a lot going on, a lot of red on the board there. Ken?
Ooh, well, there's some black on the board, too. That means you're coming to a complete stop.
Wait, I thought that was red, Ken.
No, red is bad enough. But black, that means you're coming to a stop.
It goes red, and then you get into a little purpley. I mean, it goes real deep red, and then, ooh, that's nasty.
It's not looking good out there, folks.
Oh, my goodness. If you're going that way, you better give yourself a minute or two. And people say, that way? What's that way? Yeah, that way.
But if you're right past that big old tree.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
If you're going that way, just restart the show. You might have time to listen to us twice.
You know what I would encourage you to do? If you're going that way, just turn around and go the other way. Just see what happens. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? Well, just cruise right on by work. Go to a local. I used to one of the radio stations that I worked with in Birmingham. They had to tell the guy to stop doing this because he would encourage people to stop off and have themselves a couple of pops before getting back.
Hey, everybody, traffic too bad?
If the traffic's bad enough, just stop off at a watering hole and throw back a few and get back in the car and drive on home. Yeah. At some point, the general manager's like, man, you need to stop telling people to drink and drive.
Sir, that's a felony.
That's literally telling people to drink and drive. Because what? I'm just trying to loosen people up. Yes, exactly. That's right. Don't do that. So we wouldn't recommend that, but I understand it.
And if it happens, tell them Matt Murphy sent you.
Oh, sure. Why not? There's a couple of places that I would recommend around here. A lot of you popping off about the state of affairs in the city. I'm fascinated with the number, and I'm willing to have this conversation with you. But your suggestion that crime is rampant and out of control is not justification for the federal government to take over the matter of crime and policing in our local cities. Folks, that is not the federal government's job. It never has been. Never and shouldn't be. Guys, and I'm not here to, my grandpa always said, you can preach to the choir if you want to, but next Sunday you might not have a choir. And my thought was always, it might be okay to preach to the choir just a little bit, but don't start condemning the choir to hell because, then you certainly won't have a choir next Sunday. Y'all understand the analogy? And we are all one big family here, and so we can have these types of discussions. But it is not the role of the federal government to take over where local governments are failing. That is a matter for the people to take up at the polling place. And if local officials in Memphis are failing the people of Memphis, then the people of Memphis have to do something about that. And if they refuse to do that, Memphis will continue to dry up and Memphis will eventually blow away. Same with Nashville, Tennessee. Same with any other community. But for those of you that are going, well, what are you supposed to do, Matt? The crime is running rampant. Do you understand what you get if you get federal control of your security apparatus around the United States of America? I mean, understand something. If all you value is security, I would encourage you to move to North Korea. If you value security above all else, North Korea is pretty darn secure, y'all. They don't have any electricity. They don't have enough food. And they sure as hell don't have any freedom. But they're secure. I mean, they don't have crime problems either. Right? So it's always going to be, and it always has been, a balancing act between individual liberty, personal liberty, and general security and the health and stability of any given community. And I do not believe that it is constitutional, nor do I believe it's advisable to take away local control of our crime and policing apparatus and hand it over to a state or a federal government, and the state obviously has some role and some say, more so than the federal government, but we remain 50 separate state experiments. And the 10th Amendment still means something to me, and I hope that it means something to you. And I understand the frustration that people have about Memphis, and I would encourage the local Memphis folks to vote better representation into that office. And if it gets bad, and look, an argument could be made that it's bad enough that it's time for the governor to step in. And I believe that gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn has already weighed in on this and said that were she governor, that she would strongly consider it, especially when it comes to Memphis. I don't believe that we've gotten there in Nashville. I do believe that the mayor and many on the Metro Council are binding the hands of the Metro Nashville Police Department by not giving them the tools necessary to battle crime in the manner in which they would like to. And that's sad. It will eventually not only affect the residents of this community, and it already is, it will eventually affect tourism, which will impact our economy, which will in turn create a double effect on the residents of this community. 5337 writes in and says, if Nolensville has one liquor store and can have one for every 5,000 people, and they have 17,000, doesn't that mean that they could just build two right away? Okay, I'm going to lean on our newsman, our intrepid news reporter, Ken Weaver, on this story, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that young Mr. Weaver has been reporting on this story throughout the course of the afternoon. Ken?
Well, they could build two right away, but I was just sticking with one.
So what is the story behind this?
Well, apparently Nolensville had a no liquor store policy there for a while.
Okay.
Why would they have that?
Now they have one liquor store.
All right.
This ordinance they're voting on tonight, according to Channel 4, would allow a liquor store for every 5,000 residents.
Okay.
So, with 17,000 residents, that means if this ordinance passes, they could start building another liquor store right away. Now, they could do two liquor stores, too.
Sure.
I just didn't get all technical.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, yeah, the idea is that they could, if this ordinance passes, they can build themselves another liquor store.
That's right.
Or two.
Or two, yes.
Well, they're building up. And have y'all been to Nolensville lately?
I go to that brewery over there in Nolensville.
Ooh, let me tell you, if I had to deal with that traffic that I experienced there on, I guess that's 41, if I had to experience that traffic on a daily basis, they better have a liquor store pretty often.
I'm saying, man, what if there's a line, like, I feel like once you introduce the liquor store, what if there's a line at the liquor store? You can't go to the other one.
Because there's only the one.
Yeah.
Man, would you not, if I'm that one liquor store guy, man, no more. You're a teetotaler, man.
I'd be up there saying, listen, this is going to lead to people jumping off buildings. They're going to be setting fires. You only need one liquor store, and that's mine.
First comes the liquor. Then comes the dancing. Then comes the smooching.
And before you know it, men and women are swimming together.
Laying down together. 9 months later, here comes the baby carriage.
And they'll be listening to the heathen rock and roll.
Rubbish. Oh, no,
wearing blue jeans and beads and all.
Multiple liquor stores is the devil.
Have y'all ever heard?
Just ask Miss Boucher.
It reminds me of, have y'all ever heard, it's the greatest example of political doublespeak in the history of the United States of America. And it was a speech written by a state representative out of the state of Louisiana. And his name was Soggy Sweat. His last name was Sweat, and his nickname was Soggy.
Why'd they call him Soggy?
Because he's a big fella, and
he's always sweating.
And he's always sweating. It's hot. Hot down in the bayou. And Soggy Sweat was asked to give a speech on the legalization of alcohol.
Hooch.
Of the hooch. And I might at some point over the course of the day find that speech and deliver it for you, because it is one of the most fabulous examples of political doublespeak. Because I promise you, those city councilors down there, in one ear, they got the Baptist church talking to them, the members of the congregation of their Sunday school class. And on the other side, they got the business community going, we would do well. And we're trying to build these residences out here, and we're going to need us another liquor store. Listen now, we believe in prudence. But at the same time, we need a few libations.
Let's just make them close on Sundays.
Like God intended. Look. Y'all do what you need to do in Nolensville, but I better not be waiting in line to get liquor. Come on.
Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing here?
Maybe they don't have a lot of drinkers down there in Nolensville.
It was my argument, y'all. And I don't know if this is the case for Tennessee. Is Lynchburg still dry? Surely not.
Lynchburg?
I heard. I was told when I went on the tour.
Oh, that's right.
That Lynchburg, Tennessee, was in a dry county. And I imagine that there are still some dry counties in the state of Tennessee. There certainly were some years ago in the state of Alabama. And my argument has always been that, maybe that works back in the day. But nowadays, with automobiles, all you're encouraging is drinking and driving by having dry counties. That's all you're doing.
Everybody's driving to the wet county, if you will.
Right. And they're driving to the wet county, and they're buying them some hooch, and then they get in their car, and then those cold beers are sitting right there beside them. And then they're driving home, and they're like, I probably shouldn't have one, but I'll just pop one cold one.
Says right here, yes, Lynchburg, Tennessee remains in a dry county.
It's like when Tennessee was a dry campus.
Knoxville?
Yeah. Up until they started selling beer in the stadium my junior year.
Oh, well, on camp. Oh, come on.
On campus.
Jackson.
Oh, at the stadium.
Jackson. Jay Willie. That's a long. I don't know how many games that I have been in Sanford Stadium at the University of Georgia,
where you would wear some extra cowboy boots.
Well, because you know what? They're not checking me.
They're not checking it. Hey, they were.
You know what I mean? Why would they do that? Or watching as the younger folk just got tore up from the floor up before the game.
Hammered.
Because they gotta hold that buzz throughout 4 quarters of football.
Now, this is what you do. You go with a buddy. You each stuff your boots with airplane bottles. And then you each split a large soda of your choice.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
A plus B equals C.
Yeah, I get that.
Ken, you catch my drift?
I do.
I think we're picking up what you're laying down.
We're picking up what Brother Jackson is laying down.
You're leaving it right where we can find it. All right, 22 after the hour. I'm going to try to find that soggy sweat. But, yeah, good for Nolensville.
You're going to try to find your soggy sweat?
I'm going to try to find the soggy sweat. Plus, RFK speaking before the halls of Congress and laying down some truth bombs. We'll share that with you in a moment at 22 after the hour. Don't forget, we got Nincompoops at 5:35. After that, I'm going to ask of you what questions you would want answered from the 7th Congressional District candidates. There will be 4 on stage. Matt Van Epps will be on stage. Gino Bolso will be on stage. Jody Barrett will be on stage. And Lee Reeves will be on stage tomorrow night at the Cabaret. Doors will be opening up around this time. So in less than 24 hours, you'll have a seat to the party. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be revealing. It will be broadcast on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. And listen, folks, this is going to determine representation for the present and future of the 7th Congressional District. And it matters. I'm interested in your questions. We'll get to those questions coming up in a couple of minutes on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. J.K. and Erica Brister are owners of U.S. Pest. What a great job they do from an ownership perspective. Here's what they understand and what they know. And I've talked to J.K. and Erica about this, is that you hire good quality people and that you get good quality results. And you create the expectations from your employees, and that trickles down, and the expectations are delivered to the customer. What are those expectations? That they're going to do it the right way the first time. And if you've ever been unsatisfied with your service at U.S. Pest, they're going to make it right with a 100% money-back guarantee, whether that's full-service pest control, termite protection, both preventative and corrective services, or crawl space services. They're going to make it right, but they don't have to do that very often because they do it right the first time. My grandpa used to say, do it right or do it twice, and that's what they believe in at U.S. Pest. The purpose of pest control is to protect your family from disease and from the ick factor of rodents and insects being on your property, and they do it well. So let's get with a monthly program, or at very least, call U.S. Pest and let them examine your property. That number is 590-1260, 590-1260, online at uspest.com. Once again, uspest.com.
Couple of families left with nothing after a fire in Antioch this morning. Authorities think someone was cooking with a propane stove indoors. Details at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
29 minutes after, it is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 5668 says, oh, no, you're cutting off the great one, Mark Levin. I might listen to you after 7 tomorrow. Then 5668 says, I can only stand to listen to him for a short amount of time. Hold on a second, my friend. What does that mean, my friend? What, are you a dope?
Oh, you missed it. I wanted to do it.
You big dope?
You dope.
You dope?
Dope.
Dueling Levins.
Dope. Dope. Mine kind of sounds like Homer Simpson.
Yeah, yours is more dough from Homer, but it's all good. 7 to 9, and yes, we will be interfering with the Levin show. Our apologies for you Levin supporters out there. Those of you that love Mark, I love Mark, and we'll hear him come Monday at 7 p.m. Well, actually, you'll hear him from 9 to 10 tomorrow night on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. When Prohibition was repealed, all counties in the U.S. had to vote on liquor. Yeah, no, I get all that. I understand that. Lynchburg just doesn't have enough population to support the vote. I think at this point, Lynchburg being dry is a hook. I mean, I don't. I mean, you can drink on property at the Jack Daniels facility because I did. They have a tasting room at the Jack Daniels facility. I think it's a part of the lore.
No, I think that tasting room is a sovereign nation.
Well, that's the way I look at it. When I was there, you got Jack Daniels, you got Gentleman Jack, you got Single Barrel, and you got that Cinnamon Fire, and that was it. Now they got all this.
Have you ever tried Jack Daniels Vanilla?
I have not.
Put that in a little Diet Coke. Change your life.
Will it now?
It's very good.
I mean, I'm an old man. There's not a lot that can change my life anymore, Jackson.
It's cheap, too. It's like $8 a bottle.
Okay. $8
in college.
Oh, now we might.
Price is probably 14 now.
Yeah, they got all this flavor. They got Applejack too, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that cinnamon you were talking about?
Jack Fire.
Cinnamon Jack Fire.
It's good. It's less sweet than a typical cinnamon whiskey, like a Fireball. It's much less sweet. Got more bite to it. Much preferred. If I drink a flavored whiskey, I'm drinking Jack Fire. I like Jack Daniels. I'm a simple man, a man of simple tastes.
Yeah.
I'm all good with Jack.
I had a troublesome relationship with Jack Daniels.
Did you now? Have y'all repaired said relationship?
Oh,
or are you still on the out?
Yes, sir. We stay away from each other.
Oh, yeah. You just agree to stay across the room from one another.
Yeah. An amicable split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all can go to the same parties. Just Jack stay over there and Ken will stay over here, and we'll be all right.
I love him to death.
You'd hug his neck if he were here right
Yes,
now.
sir.
You just don't want to. You just don't want to get too close to him.
Right.
Because he'll hug you right back.
Oh, he will.
And then before you know it, you're hugging something else.
Yes, sir.
The cool side of the commode. I've been there, too.
Been there.
I've been there and done that. 0792, Matt tried Jack Fire with pineapple juice. What? Okay. I mean, I'll try just about anything once.
So send in your liquor store suggestions, and Matt will try every single one of them before going on stage at the debate tomorrow night.
Here's what I'll tell you I'll do. If y'all send me liquor store suggestions, I'll drive down to Nolensville, and I'll buy all of this at the one Nolensville liquor store.
There you go.
And then you'll try it right before you moderate that debate?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm all good.
I wonder how many liquor store owners are going to be at that meeting tonight.
Potential liquor store owners.
Might be one or two. I've got the Soggy Sweat speech, by the way. I might deliver this a little bit later on because it's as good as I remember it. We'll get into RFK in a moment as well. If you got any comments on that, please, by all means. RFK was laying it down. Yes, the pharmaceutical industry has way too much of a stranglehold in Washington, D.C. It was on display today. It's 32 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, 2 homes just off Hobson Pike and Antioch are ashes, destroyed by fire. Started around 5:30 this morning. This woman lived in one of them and telling Channel 4.
In the living room, and next thing you know, the fire started from the back. Still don't even know how did it happen. But yeah, as you can see, we lost everything. So we came this morning just trying to see if there's anything that we could save, but unfortunately there was anything that could be saved.
Yeah, firefighters say someone using a propane stove indoors may be to blame, and there were cars parked in front of the hydrant, which delayed efforts to put out the flames. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro police say they're still investigating after a license plate reader camera hit on a stolen car parked at the Town Place by Marriott Hotel near Drake's off of Medical Center Parkway. That car linked to a murder-kidnapping suspect out of North Carolina. Murfreesboro police say they searched floor by floor, even with a drone, and didn't find the wanted man, but they're still looking. Later today in Williamson County, Nolensville city leaders taking up an ordinance that allows more liquor stores in town. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says it could allow one liquor store for every 5,000 people living in Nolensville, which, if it passes, would allow at least one more right away because there's 17,000 people living in Nolensville.
Stores would still have to follow strict rules, including being in approved zones and staying at least 300 feet away from things like churches, schools, libraries, and parks.
Yeah, that first vote set for 6:30 tonight at Nolensville City Hall. And heads up, if you're heading out to one of the football games in Rutherford County tomorrow night, you might want to arrive early because of new security measures. They'll be using the same weapons detection system being installed in Rutherford County schools around the district, and they'll be enforcing a clear bag policy. No purses or diaper bags. They want to see what you got. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, let's start on I-24, shall we? In Glencliff. Got a stalled vehicle, right lane on-ramp blocked, right there 24 eastbound from Briley Parkway. Also 24 eastbound at exit 54, there's a crash there. Whites Creek, a crash 24 westbound near Old Hickory Boulevard North, exit 40. And in Madison, we've got a crash blocking the right shoulder, 65 northbound near Old Hickory Boulevard. In Rivergate, police working a crash, 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. In Hermitage, a wreck, 40 eastbound before Stewart's Ferry Pike. And 40 westbound past Fessler's Lane, there's a crash there at exit 212. And in Rural Hill, we've got a crash 24 eastbound at Bell Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
I feel like I do a pretty good job talking for a living, but sometimes it's difficult for me to describe to you the beauty of some of the structures at Stoltz Co. You need to see them for yourself. When I tell you, hey, Stoltz Co., you can build yourself a post-frame building like a barn. And people go, okay, well, I've seen a barn before. You haven't seen a barn like this. I mean, you haven't seen an equestrian space like this. You've not seen a garage space like this. You've not seen a barn dominium like this. Now, when I thought barn dominium, I thought, okay, it's an old barn and they turned it into a place where somebody lives. Man, oh man, I could not be more disabused of that notion when I went to the Stoltz Co. website and saw some of the beautiful barn dominiums that are prepared and built by the Stoltz Co. company themselves. If you own land, if you're looking to improve the value of your land, if you're looking for a real asset on your property, it's time to build a building from Stoltz Co. Sit down with the team at Stoltz Co. and let them help you decide what you want on your property. Or if you already know, never you fear. They're going to work with you to realize that dream. That's what it's all about at Stoltz Co. See the properties themselves at stoltzco.com, 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 or call 615-622-5992. 622-5992 for our friends at Stoltz Co. You know, say what you will about the possibility of Donald Trump taking over crime and policing in places like Chicago, Memphis, Baltimore, Maryland. He is obviously well within his right to take care of this in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, different than, for example, Memphis. However, the liberal reaction to his takeover has been nothing short of embarrassing and hilarious. Donald Trump has managed to position political leftists into a corner, and now they are actually arguing in favor of crime. Headline from the Associated Press. D.C. lawsuit challenges Trump's National Guard deployment as a forced military occupation. The District of Columbia Thursday challenged President Donald Trump's use of the National Guard in Washington, asking a federal court to intervene even as he plans to send troops to other cities in the name of driving down crime. I don't know that Trump's going to send those troops to other cities. Maybe I might be wrong. I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of different ways to skin a cat, as the phraseology used to go. I don't use that phraseology anymore because cat lovers get mad at me, but one way or the other. There's a lot of ways to take care of that business. You could send troops in to protect federal installations, for example, without giving them the authority to patrol city streets, but it might have a similar style effect. Anyway, Brian Schwalb, the district's elected attorney general, said in a lawsuit that the deployment, which now involves more than 1,000 troops, is, quote, an illegal use of the military for domestic law enforcement. So you're arguing against criminal law enforcement. Why? Because you claim that the District of Columbia is not under the jurisdiction of the President of the United States of America, which I would suggest you go back to Section 740 of the Home Rule Act of 1973, which, by the way, created your position. The elected district attorney in Washington, D.C., your position was created by the Home Rule Act of that 1973 year. And if you read the act passed by Congress, Congress gave certain local authority to you elected officials, and it withheld the ability to take back certain authority if and when the President of the United States determines that an emergency is at hand. Well, the President has determined that there is an emergency in Washington, D.C. involving crime, criminal behavior that is going unchecked by local police authorities. So he's taking over those police officers under his jurisdiction, and he's empowering the National Guard to assist and facilitate the elimination of crime in our nation's capital, something that every legal mind that I've talked to said that he is well within his right to do. Now, I would agree with that. In my analysis of what's going on, I would say this, that I don't believe the presidential authority extends to places like Chicago and Memphis, because I do not believe that you have specific acts of violence or rioting or civil unrest within these jurisdictions that merit overriding a governor's will on these things. And thus far, the Illinois governor, Pritzker, the Baltimore governor, Wes Moore, Tennessee governor, for that matter, Bill Lee, they have declined to request assistance from the President of the United States, and they have declined themselves to call for the National Guard to be called up. I just find it amazing that the District of Columbia is now arguing for more crime, because there's no question the crime rate has gone down since the president took over the patrolling of the streets through the National Guard and through the D.C. police. All right, it's 45 after the hour. We do it every day at this time. It's time for Nincompoops in the News, ladies and germs.
Nincompoops in the News.
Friends, I'm going to be honest with you. I think I was in the lead yesterday, but I'm not really certain. What? Oh, what? Oh, what?
It was me.
What do you mean it was you?
I won with my late submission of the Alabama Crimson Tide. You remember that, don't you? I got a bunch of votes at the end because you brought up that my nincompoop wasn't naked for the first time in a while. And I said, I got a good naked one for you. Mm-hmm. The Alabama Crimson Tide defense after Florida State pantsed them this past Saturday.
You know what, Jackson? You make me suck my teeth. You know that?
I've never heard that before. But a lot of ways to kill a woodpecker. Ain't that right, Weaver?
More than one way to kill a woodpecker.
The most effective way, apparently, with a big old brick.
All right, fine. I predict that Jay Willie's going down in defeat today. Now, Ken, you've been off.
Yes, sir.
And so I have instituted, there's rules that are regularly instituted during Nincompoops in the News by yours truly, Matt Murphy, the host of the show.
Yes.
And, we instituted a rule by which the previous day's winner gets to go first.
Yes.
We also have a long-standing rule that there are to be no repeats on Nincompoops in the News.
No repeats.
But I'm instituting a rule, and it might be a little too late for today, but if you have been off for a period of a day or so and you offer a repeat, you are given a one-shot opportunity to follow up with a different story.
Okay. I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel bad because, we're all farming the same places. And
yeah.
But it wouldn't have worked for Cameron yesterday because he was here on Tuesday and he had a repeat yesterday.
Well, that's right. See, so, yeah, that you get it.
I do.
I'll
throw flags if I need to.
Flag hell out of these people if you need to. Jackson, you claim you won. So go first.
We're going to Florida. Florida woman grabs her brother's genitals and chokes her mom because a PlayStation game went missing.
I mean, you could just... Couldn't you just stop right there? Couldn't you just stop right there?
That's it right there, man.
What? Just say it one more time.
Florida woman grabs her brother's genitals and chokes her mom because a PlayStation 4 game went missing.
The best part of that sentence.
Did she do it at the same time?
We're going to get into that, Ken.
The best part of that sentence is the fact that it's a woman, not a girl, not a teenager,
right.
Not a juvenile, a woman. Go.
In September, or earlier this week, jurors in Judge Peter Brigham's courtroom in Florida took just 20 minutes to convict 21-year-old Alexandra Dominguez of strangulation and battery, according to a social media update from the 5th Judicial Court State Attorney's Office, and it all began over a missing PlayStation 4 game. Court records show the incident happened earlier last year when deputies with the Marion County Sheriff's Office were called to a home in Ocala, Florida, about 80 miles southeast of Orlando. The call stemmed from a heated altercation between Dominguez and two family members. According to reports, Dominguez had followed her brother and mother home from a local park where they had arranged to retrieve a PlayStation 4 gaming console. Reports say Dominguez's family instructed her to wait outside while one of the victims went inside to bring her the console. When the device was handed over, Dominguez allegedly became irate over a missing box and game. After noticing the missing game, deputies say Dominguez pushed her brother to the ground, grabbed his genitals, and pulled on his beard before placing her hands around her mother's throat and choking her when her mother tried to intervene. Both victims showed injuries that matched their statements, according to Sheriff's Office.
Getting him from
Don't know
both
how they
ends.
checked that one. Dominguez had fled the scene, and deputies attempted to reach Dominguez by phone, but she did not answer. A warrant was later issued for her arrest, and she was taken into custody.
I'm not saying I'm not saying you got to let go with your left hand, and I'm not saying you got to let go with your right hand, but one end has got to have some relief.
Yes, sir. Just shoot up in here amongst us.
Because one of us has got to have some relief.
Is there a photo of Miss Dominguez?
Yes, there is, Ken.
I gotta see it. Let me.
I bet she's just smoking hot.
She's
Is she a good-looking woman there, Jackson?
We've seen worse crackheads on this segment.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. This is something that I never thought that I would say in my radio career. Oh, man. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Jackson, can we class up this show a little bit? Can we?
I thought I was never told anything about class.
I feel like we're going in the wrong direction with Nincompoops here.
Man, that is funny.
We've gone from naked, just random nakedness to.
Well, and there was a bunch of screaming and caterwauling too. The brother was probably.
Whoa!
What are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, there was probably a general amazement that led to abject terror, and then probably some pain.
That is not a happy-looking young woman.
The worst thing they said is they had injuries that coagulated their story.
Corroborated.
Whatever.
What you're looking for. Well, there might have been some coagulation.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Wait, what's coagulation?
It's a pooling and a drying of fluids.
But what do you mean they had well, wait a second, officer.
Oh, my.
There's a lot of people. Y'all don't vote for the man before we get ours out. Ken, we just go ahead and go.
All right, sir. Here we go. Middle Tennessee man threatened to blow up UT Veterinary Hospital over pet spider monkey. A Middle Tennessee man facing charges after police say he threatened to blow up the University of Tennessee Veterinary Hospital on River Drive in Knoxville. Happened around 5 o'clock What? No, last month.
Oh, okay.
I was getting ready to say this morning. All right, it happened around 5 o'clock last month on a Thursday. According to a police report, the officer who filled out the report said they were called to the hospital after it received the threat. The officer said 37-year-old Joseph McNorman called the hospital asking for his pet spider monkey to be seen. He was told he would have to wait until the clinic opened around 7:30 in the morning. And he told the operator, if my monkey dies, I'm coming there to blow the whole effing building up. The clinic refused to serve McNorman after he made the threat. Well, sir, you're just going to have to go someplace else. Police were able to run a background check on the phone number, the report said, which led them to McNorman. He was charged with harassment and making a threat of mass violence. No word on how the little spider monkey's doing.
Oh, poor little spider monkey. Just
Do you even want to go? I feel like it's going to be a two-man race between me and Ken here.
Yes, I want to go. I mean, I'll go quickly, Jackson. Jeez.
Get your participation ribbon. We got news to hit.
Bizarre. No, I don't think I want to go. Some lady wouldn't sell towels made in Israel. Anti-Semites. There. That was my story. Seattle, Washington. It was a Dollar General, and a customer came up, and the cashier found out that mine was a good one, too. I'm saving it till tomorrow. I ain't doing one today. I'm not doing one today. It's 53 after the hour. I refuse to participate in this setup. Vote Weaver and vote Jackson. Don't vote for me. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Whether paying by the visit or enrolling in the Smart Care plan, you will always know you're getting exceptional health care at an affordable price at Grace Point Healthcare. Let's talk about the Smart Care plan for a moment. Just $69 a month, and it includes free office visits for the entire year, plus free basic labs and diagnostic testing. And oh, by the way, now, thank you to the big, beautiful law, you can pay your Smart Care plan through your HSA. Ask them about it at Grace Point Healthcare. No long wait times in the waiting rooms at Grace Point. Grace Point is your primary provider that treats the entire family from newborns to seniors. Friends, they even do house calls. If you're feeling too bad to leave the home, they'll do a house call just for you. That's that old-fashioned attitude that they have with modern medicine at Grace Point Healthcare. Treating the entire body with a comprehensive medical approach, getting to the root of the problem, and not just treating the symptoms. That's what it's all about, and never, ever, ever allowing the insurance company to get in the way of your exceptional health care. You can afford exceptional health care. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. 599-6868, 599-6868. Located in the heart of Franklin, it's Grace Point.
6 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, Channel 4 says starting tomorrow, you're going to see more armed security guards at several Metro Park facilities. Part of an effort to enhance safety and security across the park system. They're going to cover key locations, including the Centennial Sportsplex, Hamilton Creek Marina, permitting office, and community centers throughout Davidson County. This will be funded through the Parks Department's operating budget. And here in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4's Lydia Fielder says charges could be upgraded against a driver who ran over a 76-year-old woman and then sped away in Murfreesboro.
Today, we've learned that victim died yesterday. The crash happened nearly 2 weeks ago in the parking lot of a Kroger on South Church Street. 44-year-old Heather Keller is facing several charges now, including failure to render aid and driving on a revoked license. A medical examiner will do an autopsy to figure out the exact cause of death.
And Murfreesboro police say they searched for a murder kidnapping suspect out of North Carolina after a license plate reader camera hit on a stolen car that was outside a hotel under construction along Medical Center Parkway today. Police say they searched the Town Place by Marriott Hotel near Drake's Restaurant off Medical Center Parkway, but they didn't find a suspect, but they're still investigating. And here in Middle Tennessee, in Williamson County, Nolensville city leaders preparing to take up an ordinance to allow more liquor stores. Right now, there's just one, but this would allow for one liquor store for every 5,000 people in Nolensville. Channel 4 says there are 17,000 people living in Nolensville, so if this passes, there could be at least one more liquor store built right away. The first vote set for 6:30 tonight, that at Nolensville City Hall. Congress is back in session and making a lot of noise. Listen to this exchange between Vermont U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. during a hearing today on pushing President Trump's health agenda forward. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders talking about RFK Jr. and RFK Jr.'s criticism of lawmakers taking PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay, you were already president. You got $1.5 billion behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt. But you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Madison got a crash on the right shoulder, 65 northbound near Old Hickory Boulevard. North Nashville, injury wreck reported Briley Parkway eastbound right before Dickerson Pike. Rural Hill, the right lane blocked by a crash, 24 eastbound before Bell Road. Over by Belmont, got a crash reported by police, 440 eastbound just past Hillsborough Pike, 21st Avenue, exit 3. I'm Ken Weaver.
All right. Mercy on Ken Weaver, mercy on Matt Murphy. Some showed mercy on me and voted for me, even though I declined to participate in Nincompoops in the News today because Jackson Williams was, well, he was destroying the competition. There you go, Jackson. Congratulations.
Would you say I grabbed you both by, not going to say that.
By the mommy-daddy button. Yeah. 4667 says Jackson wins by a length. I don't know what that means. TB says any story with a spider monkey automatically wins. My vote goes for Ken. There are enough Ken votes to make it a race and a couple of Matt Murphy sympathy nods, but I do believe Jackson might have this one. It's 7 minutes after 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up in a moment, and I would invite you to go ahead and jump on board. If you have any questions that you want asked during tomorrow's debate. Now, allow me to deliver the format to you. And while we're loading up some questions, we'll talk about Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s testimony on Capitol Hill today. Plus, I do have the soggy sweat commentary that is as good as I remember it. And I will try to do it some service a little bit later on. It is a classic example of political doublespeak. And some say that when he delivered this, here's the thing. Noah Soggy Sweat was the man's name. There's no question. He was a Mississippi legislator. I think I said Louisiana, and I was wrong. It was Mississippi. And there is no question that when he delivered this speech in April of 1952. The question is whether he knew what he was doing or not. There are some that say that he was just an example of political doublespeak. There are others that would suggest that he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was using this as a parody as to how some politicians speak out of both sides of their mouth. Either way, it is very hilarious. And if you've never heard it, you'll want to stand by. So tomorrow night, around this time, individuals will be filing into the cabaret. I'll be winding down this radio show and preparing for a debate between 7 and 9 p.m. tomorrow night, Friday night, at the cabaret. Now, the cabaret seats a lot of people. I think there are like 700 seats, but we are told that there are several still available, although not as many as you might expect. A lot of people coming out to this 7th Congressional District debate to hear the four main candidates. Now, how did we get to 4? I think there are 12 in total.
I got one.
You got one what? A question?
A seat.
Oh, you got a seat?
Yeah.
Have you signed up?
No, but I'm going with you. I'm assuming.
You are going to be there. And y'all, Jackson was so cute. You know what he asked me today? Hey, Ken. Is Ken back there? Ken Weaver's probably busy.
Ken, you busy back there?
No, he's busy.
Oh, he propped his head up. Here he comes.
Okay.
What, boys?
Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
You know what Jackson asked me? We're doing this big debate tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
And Jackson's going to be on site with old Matt Murphy.
All right.
Protecting me. He's my personal security guard.
Yeah.
It was so sweet. I felt like a daddy, and his son was going to the prom. You know what he asked?
What's that?
He said, Matt, what should I wear?
No, I said, what do I need to wear to this thing? I don't want to look stupid.
Okay, that was exactly the language that he used.
Actually, I think there might have been a foul word in there.
I said, what were you thinking? He said, polo and some pants. I said, you're all good. So you're all good.
Yeah, there you go, brother. There you go, Brother Jackson.
Didn't want to be another naked poop in the news.
Collared shirt. I'm dying to see it.
I don't think you've ever seen me in a collared shirt. When the suits came in a few months ago.
Oh yeah. You were sucking up to the big bosses. I remember that. We were all doing a little of that.
Yeah.
As I recall.
They observed me for a show.
Not
Yeah.
Observed you?
Yes.
Just like staring at you through a glass?
No, they were behind me, like not in this room, but over on our sister station. That they were all in the room watching me produce.
That's got to be a bit of pressure.
A little bit.
You perform well?
I'm still here.
I mean, you graduated. You graduated to the big boy afternoon show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Congratulations. Yeah, Jackson will be out there. I'll be out there. So here are the rules. So I'll be on air, or here's how it's going to work out. The debate starts at 7. Thank you to Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News, because Dan has agreed to help me out a little bit in this. And he was the first I asked, and so I could have asked Chad, could have asked Chris, but I asked Dan Mandis. Love Dan, and he's a great guy, and he said, absolutely, Murphy, I'll help you out in any way I can. So I'm going to do our show until 6:30. And we will do a normal show. We'll have a Fry J in the 4 o'clock hour. May or may not be talking to David Corlew tomorrow. That might be next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. But either way, we'll have our normal show leading up to the debate. We'll focus in on the pre-debate festivities around 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Dan's going to give us a 30-minute lead-in to the debate. I'm going to make myself scarce at about 6:30, get some water, probably change my clothes and put on a tie. So if you've always wanted to see Matt Murphy in a tie, I don't know why you would want to see Matt Murphy in a tie, but if you've always wanted to see Matt Murphy in a tie, I'll dress the part, and I'll wear the suit and tie tomorrow. And we'll crank up the debate at 7 o'clock. We're going straight through. There are no breaks. We have 4 candidates that will be on stage. Those 4 candidates will be in alphabetical order: Jody Barrett, Gino Bolso, Lee Reeves, and Matt Van Epps. Now, I had nothing to do with picking how the contestants were selected. I've made a commitment from now until the special primary election in October that I'm happy to have any candidate that is in the race on. That said, for the purposes of this debate, it was felt that we needed to do some sort of weeding out of candidates so that we could get more questions to the candidates that had more of a likelihood to win. And with that in mind, AFP decided that they would limit the debate to the top 3 polling candidates in a poll as determined by them, and any other candidate that demonstrated at least $250,000 in their campaign coffers. Why that amount of money? Because it's felt like in a short period of time that in order to overcome a 4th or worse place finish in a poll, you're going to need that amount of money to get the votes necessary to push you over the top, to be viable. Does that make sense? So that could have been 4 candidates, could have been 5, could have been 6, could have been all of them. I mean, if all of them have $250,000, all of them can be on stage. But it turned out that it was 4, the 4 mentioned by me. So if you have any question whatsoever for any of these 4, understand the format will be as follows. There will be an opening prayer. There will be the Pledge of Allegiance, obviously. We, the moderators of the debate, Michael Lotfi of AFP and myself, Matt Murphy of Super Talk 99.7 WTN, will introduce ourselves. We will then introduce the candidates on stage. The candidates will have, I think it's 90 seconds, might be 2 minutes. They will have an opportunity for opening remarks. Every time a question comes up, or even during the opening remarks, we're going to use a randomizer from ChatGPT to select the order randomly of who goes first. After opening comments, I will ask the first question. The questions that I ask have been written by me. The questions Michael Lotfi asks have been written by him. And we will alternate our questions. until we reach the end of the debate. And it is time for a closing remark by each of the candidates. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer the question asked by the moderator, and the order of those answers will be determined by a randomizer in ChatGPT. For example, Matt Murphy, well, what question did you have, Jackson? We'll use yours as an example question of what you can expect tomorrow night during the big debate. What's your question, Jackson?
Do you believe that jorts are an acceptable fashion item?
Okay. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Americans for Prosperity Super Talk 99.7 WTN 7th Congressional District Republican Primary Debate. My name is Matt Murphy, one of your co-moderators. Let's get right into it. Question 1. Do you believe jorts are an acceptable form of clothing? And why or why not? So you got to ask that why or why not. Because otherwise they'd just say yes or no. And so I asked that question. Each candidate, randomized by the computer, will have then 90 seconds to answer. If they go over their 90 seconds by more than 5, so they'll be told when it's time to stop. You'll hear me or Pamela Furr, who will be there keeping time, or Michael say, stop. When they're told to stop, if they continue and I'm just telling you, this is the way it is. If they continue talking for more than 5 seconds, they will then have 1 minute docked from their next answer.
So they might as well go the rest of that minute.
Well, I mean,
hey, I'm just saying.
The second time they do it, they're kicked out of the debate. So I don't think you should probably do that.
So you do it on your last question.
Maybe
you grandstand for a while.
Sure, you can hold the floor for as long as you possibly can. That'll look good on you. It'll look good. And people yelling in the background, and you're not giving up this microphone. So that's the format. There are no follow-ups. I ask a question. Each of the 4 candidates answer the question, and then we move on to question number 2, and we repeat the same format until such time as the debate is over. We expect to get at least 10, maybe 12 questions in. Most of them will be very meat and potato issues involving the federal government of the United States of America, the role of the 7th Congressional District, representing the 7th Congressional District, issues that matter to those folks that are within the 7th Congressional District. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, I have an open question or two, and I'm interested. 615-737-9986. Don't put them in on the super text line. Call them in. That's where I want them. 615-737-9986. 5286 wants to know jorts for men, women, or both.
All. Jorts for all.
Jean shorts are unacceptable in any setting whatsoever. For whatever reason you think you need to wear jean shorts, you do not. Now, cutoff jeans are a different thing.
So
I don't consider cutoff jeans to be jorts. Jorts are designed to be shorts.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Cutoff jeans, you just got real hot one day and decided you needed to lose the bottoms. And I say more power to you. More power to you.
9929 says, hey, Matt, sometimes you go over and then got to rush to the news with Ken. Should we implement these rules as a show?
I'm going to disallow it.
Why?
Because I'm the benevolent dictator of the show. That's why. I'm the one that's violating the rule. Why would I implement the rule that punishes the person that violates the rule when I'm the one violating the rule? If you are the one violating the rule, then I'm all about implementing the new rule.
Me
but
and
you
Ken
are not.
Are going to team up.
Are you?
Stage a coup.
You're going to vote? A coup?
A coup.
You've been here permanently a week, and you're talking about a coup already? Boy, this is
I moved quickly.
It's going to be this is going to be a long, hot summer for us.
Summer's almost over.
That's true.
It's going to be 50 degrees next week.
Man, it's going to be a long fall after
those
the
real
13th.
feels.
I meant to ask our previous guest, Mayor Glen Jacobs, if he was going to the game next weekend. I bet he's going to be there.
I bet he is.
I would be willing to bet that. All right. Any questions? 615-737-9986. Once again, for example, 4460. I like this question. We are not asking specific candidates specific questions about themselves, but, it's up to the individual candidates. If they want to turn a 90-second answer into a 40-second answer and use the other 50 seconds to transition into bashing their opponents, I'm all for it. Get down in the meat. Get down in the dirt. Get down in the mud. Let's do it. Let's sling something. Question for Lee Reeves. If you win the election, are you going to complain you didn't win by enough? See, that's funny. That's funny because 4460 remembers that Lee Reeves was annoyed at the poll that literally had him in the lead, and he was grumpy about it. 615-737-9986, 20 after the hour. We'll also get to the CDC testimony, at least a minute and 46 seconds that you must hear from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's on the way next on Super Talk. I have a few words for you with regard to diamonds, like oval diamonds, round cut, princess cuts, emerald cuts, heart-shaped diamonds, pear-shaped diamonds, custom cuts, available from 1/2 carat to 20 carats large. That is Genesis Diamonds, your source for hand-picked GIA-certified diamonds at the guaranteed best price. This is a no-brainer, friends. To properly showcase these exquisite diamonds that I've just talked about, Genesis has the designer settings that other stores simply do not have or cannot get. All of the big-name bridal designers have picked Genesis Diamonds as their trusted partner. It's a no-brainer, like I say. Genesis is the source for a ring or for earrings or for a necklace or a bracelet or anything that you can imagine bringing to your partner that's got a sparkle to it. They've got it at Genesis Diamonds. They are your one-stop shop. They never take advantage of you. They don't work on commission. They don't believe in it. They believe that they are there to help you find the right item for you and for your budget. That's what it's all about at Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs, Genesis Diamonds, no compromises. Be sure to tell them when you stop by that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Genesis Diamonds. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Several of you bringing in the questions on the phone lines. Some of you choosing the super text line, and that's okay, I suppose. I'd much prefer to hear from you directly. Josh wants to ask Gino if he thinks he should fire the PR team that created his unbelievably cringy Fight, Fight, Fight. I kind of liked his campaign ad. Y'all think it's cringy? I kind of liked it. And if he should be automatically disqualified due to being a total moron. That's from Josh. Oh, man, Josh, you're being... I didn't think it was cringy. I thought it was, maybe a little hokey. But, I'll fight. I'll tell you, I'm not supporting any candidate. I am neutral. I am Switzerland. I think we got 4 good ones on the stage. And frankly, we've got other good ones that did not make it to the debate stage. I'm all about it. I think we've got a good crop of individuals. It's all about priorities and who you think will represent you best in this arena or that arena. I just think we got a lot of good people in the race, okay? That's all I'm saying. That said, I know good political ads when I hear them. And have you listened to that? Have you noticed, Jackson, that Jody Barrett ad yet?
Yes.
Have you noticed what I've noticed about it?
They say his name in an incredible amount of time for it being 1 minute.
I counted them.
How many?
13.
16?
13. I think I counted them right. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 13 times they say his name, Jody Barrett, in that political ad.
They say Jody Barrett?
They say, yes, the Jody Barrett in the Jody Barrett ad.
The Jody Barrett ad. They say Jody Barrett.
Yes, they talk about Jody Barrett in the Jody Barrett ad.
They talk about Jody Barrett.
Jody Barrett.
Jody Barrett.
Jody Barrett.
Who's attacking Jody Barrett?
Barrett, Jody. Yeah, no, they say it a lot. I mean,
they say it an incredible amount of times.
But that, you know what that is?
Name recognition, baby.
That is name ID, man. They want to make sure that, good Lord, when you walk into the polls, if you decide to vote, you're not going to skip by Jody Barrett based on not knowing his name. And that's smart. That's smart. Some of you are saying, yeah, the Bolso ad is cringe. Realize that they thought it would be a good idea to channel Trump, but it comes across as a Howard Dean kind of ad. Love Gino. And 8726 says, love Gino, not a fan of the ad.
Can I be honest?
Yeah?
99% of political ads are super cringy.
Agreed.
That's like, it's nobody makes a good one.
Hard to find a good one. I mean, I'm not even saying that the Jody Barrett ad is smart. I'm not saying that some people aren't going to hate it. I do think it's smart to get your name out there as many times as possible, and it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do. Of course, I didn't mind the Gino Bolso ad either. I thought it was pretty good. And, we're hearing from at least 3 of the 4 candidates here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN from an advertising standpoint, and you'll hear from all of them. I would be willing to bet you. I think Jody was on Chris's show today. I'd be willing to bet, and all of these candidates are going to be on my show at some point between Monday and the primary day, October 7th. We'll have an honest discussion with each and every one of them. We're going to have a great and honest discussion tomorrow night. I look forward to that. So I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just giving analysis as to what I see are good ads and what I see are bad ads. Heather is up with a question. Hello, Heather. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. I would just suggest, I wish this was for all debates, that they not be allowed to talk about each other, but just the issues. Just let's talk about the issues and not have disparaging comments about the other candidates.
Well, one of the things that we decided, well, not we, but the folks that created the rules, and that I left it up to AFP to create the rules. I'm just a moderator, but they decided to not offer time for rebuttal or time, if your name is brought up, and it was thought that this might lessen the moments where others' names are brought up. And certainly it's going to prevent bogging down so that one candidate mentions another candidate and then the other candidate rebuts and they mention that candidate in the rebuttal. And then that first candidate goes, well, wait a minute. They mentioned, you know what I mean? That I don't want to get into all of that. I agree with you. I want to deal with the issues and leave some of the negativity at home. I can't believe I'm saying that, Heather, but yeah, leave some of the negativity at home.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the suggestion. Ricky, we'll get to yours in a moment, plus suggestions coming in on the Super Text line for questions for the debaters happening tomorrow night on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 6:30 on Super Talk. Hello, folks. Matt Murphy for the Glock store. You guys know it's no secret that I love the Second Amendment. I own guns. I carry guns. But owning and carrying is just not enough. And I try to remind you of this in the regular context of the show, but now's a good time to remind you during our Glock store visit that you got to be trained in how to use those guns. Training is more than just renting a lane. Once you learn to hold your breath and squeeze the trigger until it goes bang and put a hole in a piece of paper, you've done all you're ever going to do on a lane range. If you do it 500 times, 5,000 times, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's not training. Training is what you get at the Glock store with their Shoot 270 indoor shooting rooms. Personalized training from accomplished instructors. I've done this, and it is great training. You engage in multiple targets at a variety of distances. You draw from concealment again and again until you no longer have to think about how to do it. You just do it. You don't think about how. You just think about when. Owning a gun is obviously a responsibility. We talk about that quite a bit. Learning how to use it is a necessity. Knowing where to train is easy. It's shoot270.com and the Glock store. Make an appointment. Fill out the waiver and let the training begin. Shoot 270 indoor ranges only at the Glock store, minutes away from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. All right, I promised some audio from RFK Jr. today. I'm going to deliver on that promise. If we can get to the soggy sweat piece, we'll do that. That's pretty good. Also, your questions for candidates for tomorrow's debate. We're looking for those as well, getting plenty of them on the SuperTalk text line and plenty of them on the phone lines. I'll get back to those in just a moment. But as promised, from today, RFK laying it down regarding COVID.
Do you believe COVID-19 was politicized?
Yeah, the whole process was politicized. Senator, I mean, we were lied to about everything. We were lied to about natural immunity. We were lied to about, we were told again and again the vaccines would prevent transmission, they'd prevent infection. It wasn't true. They knew it from the start it wasn't true because that's what the animal studies and the clinical trials showed. We were told that there was science behind cloth masks. The CDC allowed the teachers union to write the order closing our schools, which hurt working people all over the country, and then pretend it was science-based. All of these issues, and then I can show you, like, for example, Chairman Wyden was talking about me politicizing ACIP. During COVID, probably the most famous scientist on ACIP was Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, the great, world-renowned epidemiologist and vaccinologist. And he criticized the COVID booster mandates. They ejected him from COVID because he wasn't in the orthodoxy. The two biggest health officials at FDA during COVID, Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krause, criticized the Biden mandates, vaccine mandates. President Biden said in August, I would never take that vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And he came in, he mandated it, and then he fired the two top health officials at FDA who said, hey, this thing has not been properly tested. So the whole process was politicized, and even today.
So let me, I'm 15.
So that's what obviously John Cornyn of Texas had a little more time there, and he was starting to speak, and I cut it off there. So, I mean, it could not be more correct. I mean, obviously. Good for the Secretary of Health and Human Services to call out our government agencies in the manner that we should. We were, of course, lied to. And the lying started with the head of the NIH, Anthony Fauci, who should be in jail because I believe Anthony Fauci is directly responsible for hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people dying. Because if Anthony Fauci had been honest with the American people from the beginning, if he had stood up before the American people and said, listen, we've been funding gain-of-function research in China. We know of these Wuhan labs. We know what they're working on. And we believe that they either intentionally or unintentionally released something from the lab. This is a man-made mutation, and it's going to spread. I think this country would have reacted a hell of a lot differently. You think the Democrats would have argued against shutting down air travel from China if that statement had been made? Come on. Come on. You think people would have reacted? I know how I reacted. I'm like, whatever. I don't eat bat meat because we were told it was bat meat. Good for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I love his take on vaccines. I do believe that vaccines are a personal choice. I do understand why some communicable diseases, which have been eradicated by vaccinations, need to stay eradicated. I don't believe that all vaccinations are bad. I don't believe that COVID-19 shots were vaccinations. Y'all hear me? Y'all feel me? I don't believe vaccinations are bad. I don't believe all vaccinations are bad, but I don't believe I should be made to take any damn thing that I don't want to put in my body. Now, if what you believe I have is so bad, you might excommunicate me from your society or your life. That's fine too. But no government should be powerful enough. No government should be powerful enough to tell me that I must be forced to put anything foreign in my body. And no government should be powerful enough to force parents to put foreign things inside of their children's bodies. Now, if communities dictate to those parents that they have to make some alternative decision about their schooling, I understand those debates. But I do not understand a government powerful enough to force you to take what they call medicine. No. Every man deserves to go to hell in his own fashion. That's called freedom. That's called liberty. Ricky has a question for the debate. Hey, Ricky, what's going on?
Hi. I enjoy your show, Matt.
Thank you, Ricky. Yes, sir.
So, a couple of difficult questions, actually. One, I'll ask them who's for the balanced budget, actually, or who's for fiscal restraint, actually. That's one of the questions I think that's important because of $37 trillion budget that we are running, and we are accumulating $2 trillion every year on top of it.
Well, let me promise you something, Ricky, because you listen to me for a long time, and I know you have. I can promise you that out of Matt Murphy's lips, there will be a question about our national deficit and debt.
Yeah, I've got a couple of other questions, Matt, quickly.
Yeah.
One is how many terms they want to remain in Congress, actually. And would they work for lobbyists or would they work for general public?
Yep.
I think it's good to.
No, I think it's good to get them on record with that sort of thing. I love it. I'll take those under advisement. I cannot necessarily guarantee the lobbyist question, although I'm writing it down. But I would guarantee you that you're going to get a question about our national debt, and more specifically about how we pass appropriations in the House of Representatives and the halls of Congress. So that's a hot tip. Thanks to Ricky. If any candidates or candidate surrogate happens to be listening, you just got a little angle on one of the questions that will be coming to you probably pretty early tomorrow with regard to national debts, and more specifically, demanding of our candidates specific directive as to how they will not vote and how they will vote regarding omnibus legislation. So there you go. Gene says, I have a feeling that Ricky is an alias. I have a feeling that you're wrong. I think Ricky is maybe not spelled like you would think it would be spelled. It's not Ricky, as in Ricky Bobby. It's more Ricky. What?
Nice caller.
Oh, no, he's a great guy.
Calls in all the time.
Yeah, Ricky's been calling probably since I've been on the radio. 1063 says, that's all we ask. Thank you, Matt. I'm not sure why it's so hard to get these politicians against RFK. I don't either. It is my, you want to talk about my body, my choice? It is my body, my choice, man. And if you tell me that certain things are so dangerous to the general public and society at large, and by the way, you're going against basic science when you deny the concepts of herd immunity, and I'm not here to deny the fact that we should have protected our elderly, we should have protected our young people. There were certain groups that I don't have a single problem with. As a matter of fact, what I'm saying to you is not anti-COVID shot. Y'all understand that? It is pro-freedom. I'm not preaching against the COVID shot. What I am saying is that each individual should do their own homework, recognize what is good about the shot, what is bad about the shot, what is effective, what is not, what are some of the drawbacks, what are the possibilities, what are the unknowns, and then make your own personal decision. Never should you be held against your will at the point of a needle. Never. And for the most part, that's what all of us were arguing at the time, that freedom, and it's anti-science to suggest that everybody should keep away from everybody else. The healthiest among us have to create a herd immunity. I was saying this in April of 2020 before we knew what the hell was going on. 1278, you're right. No, you can't smoke a joint But you better damn well take this shot or we'll take your job away from you. Steve has a question for the debate. Steve, thank you for calling in. How are you?
I'm fine, Matt. I don't live in District 7. However, my question would pose to any candidate running for Congress, how accessible will they be when they return back home to Tennessee?
It's an excellent question, and I will individually certainly hold their feet to the fire with regard to, committing to make an appearance before the people of the 7th Congressional District. It doesn't necessarily have to be on my show. I would love for it to be on my show, whether it's my show or Chris or Chad or Dan Manders or whomever it might be. Make yourself available en masse to the people of the 7th Congressional District. Maybe it's not even via the radio. Perhaps it's at town hall gatherings or other public forums or individually setting those things up with your individual constituents. You have to be willing to talk to the people. I'll give you an example. Andy Ogles will be at Big Bad Breakfast on Saturday morning, and I'll be the moderator of a discussion between Andy and myself, primarily dealing with the big, beautiful bill that became the big, beautiful law. Now, Andy and I will agree on some things, disagree on other things. But Andy at least is making himself available to the constituency that he serves in the 5th Congressional District. And I say good for him. And we expect that of the 7th Congressional District as well. 3376, have you ever put up a chain link fence to keep mosquitoes out of your yard? That's what the mask thing was always so dumb. So dumb. And you know what? I was compelled to do it, and I felt so stupid. You know, if it is so bad that we have to mask ourselves up in the manner that we were masking ourselves up, then you shouldn't have those stores open. But that was they closed down. The government of the United States of America ruined lives. Well, and I say the government of the United States of America. I should say it more properly. The governments of the various states and local municipalities ruined people's financial lives. I talked to families that had worked for 30 years building a restaurant. There was one in particular in Birmingham I'm thinking of. I talked to families that lost their livelihoods, people that owned hair salons, people that owned other businesses that had been closed down for a length of time, and they shuttered entirely and that no amount of blood, sweat, or tears can bring back what was lost because of the government, because government decided to seize upon what they considered to be a crisis and turn it into a power play. We watched it happen with our own eyes. RFK knows, and that's what he was fighting back against, this idea that the pharmaceutical industry knows better. The pharmaceutical industry knows better. The pharmaceutical industry wants to sell what? Drugs. To who? Sick people. What do they need in order to do that? Sick people. Just think on it. It's 8 until the top on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of times homeowners want to pretend that things aren't happening. We are afraid to see the warning signs. But friends, what you don't see can hurt you. Especially true when it comes to waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed. Could be a small problem that turns into a big problem if you don't address it today. USS understands all of these things. And at USS, they guarantee their best. We need peace of mind. USS provides it. They're a company that gives you peace of mind. They have 30,000, count them, 30,000, 100% satisfied residential customers. And you could be next. You could be the next one. At USS, they'll come out to your home. They'll analyze the situation. Sometimes, like I say, it's a small thing. Sometimes it's a big thing. If you've noticed some of the warning signs or you're not sure what the warning signs are, go to USSTN.com. They can tell you. USSTN.com. But it's time, if you know that you've seen them, it's time to make the call that so many others have made to the one that homeowners trust, USS. Call 615-488-7855, 488-7855 for our friends at USS Online, USSTN.com. Oh, I got a great job from Dandy, the dog. Thank you, Dandy. Appreciate that. Thank you, all of you listening to the Matt Murphy Show. We certainly appreciate you. Man, it's a Thursday. Feels like a Tuesday. I've only been here a couple of days this week.
That's what happens.
And that's what happens. And you know what? I'll come back tomorrow. Ask Lee Reeves why didn't he come to the West Haven candidate Q&A. It's in his own subdivision where he lives. His neighbors don't care for him. Okay. He didn't have a Trump sign in his yard. Wow. There's going to be some. I feel like there will be opportunities with regard to DJT to talk about the history, the past with Donald Trump. I don't know that Lee Reeves has a well-documented past. I think Bolso does. I think Jody Barrett does. I mean, obviously, Jody Barrett was against Trump in 2016. Question is, when he turned around with Trump, and, I've been told that, Barrett doesn't have a long social media history or any social media history really at all in 2020, although I've not done the research myself. Van Epps, I don't know that there's a long history there, but all of them are Trump people now, boy. I mean, they understand they better be Trump or better get out. So, we will certainly try to give them an opportunity to disabuse others of the notion that they are not Trump supporters and to talk about an answer to when they got on board the Trump train, etc. I'm very excited about it. I hope you are as well. The Friday starts off with, the usual. We'll delve into the news of the day. We'll get into Friday in the 4 o'clock hour. And then before you know it, we'll turn our attention to the moment at hand. Dan Mandis, thank you again. Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News is going to be in at 6:30 to give me a break so I can go and get all of my notes in a row and all my ducks in a row and get prepared for the debate that starts at 7 o'clock, which will be broadcast live. Some of you are asking if there's food. There will not be food at Cabaret. There will be libations or just general beverages, water, soda, whatnot. And it will be broadcast live on Super Talk TV. Also, if you want to meet the infamous Jay Willie, he will be in person with collar starting at 3 o'clock tomorrow on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Very exciting.
What do I do at 6:30?
You make yourself at home, pour yourself a drink, and enjoy. Debate tomorrow. We'll see you then. So long, everybody.